Hey everybody, how are we? It's episode. I'm dark as anything. Hang on a sec. There we go. Turn the light on. Headphones fall off. It's episode 300. Hooray! Don't even know if that. Yeah. How did we get here? How's everyone? It's Synth Geekery. It's about synths. It's about you guys. About playing music. So hopefully you guys will stick around and enjoy the show. We've got just a regular show, but obviously you could probably tell by the episode number that we've been doing this for a long time. And some of us, like in the chat here, in the video chat, all these guys have been also giving their personal time up for many years, and I do do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, of course, and hopefully you guys appreciate it as well. You guys in the chat land, we've got a pretty decent amount of people already starting on the show. I only managed to get a couple of Facebook posts up to sort of announce it, so it's been really busy here at Housse during the week. I've been doing a lot of stuff to do with music, and also a lot of stuff outside that as well. So it's not a birthday show or anything like that. It's just a number, but some people seem to think it's important, and why not? Why not celebrate it? Guys, how are we? You're all good?
Good day.
Happy birthday.
Right. Good day.
This is a birthday show. It's 300.
That's right. 300th birthday.
Sorry about that.
I think we'll go in and have a look at the chatties now.
Can't I?
I'm pretty sure I've got all the segments ready to go, so we should be right now. Hey, wow, look at that. Thank you, Chris. That's awesome, mate. Look at that graphic. Do you want me to go full screen on that? Here we go.
Why not?
That's awesome, man.
It's the same one I did last time, but changed the text and did some other scrolling things.
Oh, I love it. It's awesome. I've got to just unplug a HDMI cable quickly. Oh, thanks, Kent.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Lovely. Check 66666.
Doesn't that come through? Yeah. That comes through so well.
Amazing. It's
They're all going
uncanny
to do
how
that
it
now.
picks up.
They're all going to do lots
It's
of
amazing how
X's.
it picks up the nuance of the text like that.
Yeah. You should try a few of them. Brian does a good job. Thanks, Kent. That's awesome. Now let's see if the chatties are working. Oh yeah, my HDMI is working too. That's good. There we go. Who's making the noise in the background? Shush. Who is it? I'm going to mute you. Right. I think it might be Andy. Andy, be quiet.
Sorry.
How's everyone going? Thanks, chatties, for joining us. Big shout out to all of the channel members, of course. We've got Kissing the Machine. We've got Human Error. And who else popped in a bit earlier? Oh, it's not even letting me scroll back. Anyway, big hello to you guys. If you do want to join, it's pretty cheap. It's less than... What is it? I can't even remember what I said the other day. It was like less than $3.
Three, isn't it?
Yeah.
€3.
€3 or something. It's really cheap. Anyway, so I'm not sure if Thomas was the first. Thomas Yon. You get to run around with the Yellow Guernsey this week if you are. So big thanks for you jumping in first, mate. And then we've got the Intergalactic Federation, which we know as Dazza from Down Under.
Yeah.
He says happy 300th, sorry. So jam on, absolutely. Half God, half beast says he's number 3, so I'm pretty sure I'm right there. And we also just had someone join. So Steve's joined again. All right, mate. Good on you, buddy. Thanks for joining, mate. Half God, half beast, as I said. And also we've got a whole bunch of you guys who are regulars, like Probes and Da Vinci Girl, and I'm going to say hello to everyone this week. Tracker Jack. I keep forgetting that acrylic name. You guys will have to remind me what it is, because I just can't read it. That one. Bert's there. ASIO Head. Big hello to you, mate. Pat Brady, Matt Brown, Homegrown, the Wookie. Big hello to you, buddy. Destructo. Thanks, mate, for the congrats. Thanks to all of you guys. Paul Holmes, Wagoo, of course, been here since day dot. Thanks for supporting the channel, mate. Who else? It is scrolling. Streamlabs has come in and said hello. Good on you, Streamlabs. don't know why. Marky's there, big love to you. Steve, of course. A couple of Steves in here, so don't know what's going on there. Just scrolled on me. Anyway, if I've missed anyone, throw your synth at the screen and it makes a sound. Indeed it does. Oh, the audio's working. Hooray!
Yay.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate everyone supporting. Of course, we get stuck into the show, and I'll get back to some of the more congratulations and things that we're doing. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the format. No one's really sort of emailed me and said, "Ranz, your format sucks. I don't like it." They usually don't, so they probably just don't watch. So hopefully, you guys are enjoying it. If there's anything you guys would like to change about the show or like to see added, we've tried a few things out. I thought I'd mention what they are.
Be careful, because they might say change the presenters.
They might, Daren.
Yeah.
You know,
That's it.
you could be on the chopping block, mate. You don't know, especially this guy here. Change this guy. What was I going to say? So we've looked at doing things like featuring jams of the week, and we've even had a stinger for it. That didn't really sort of rock and roll too good. So we've tried a few things like that. We'll see if we can add some more segments. One of the ones that we really, really all enjoy, and it's just really, really hard to seem to get them, is Name That Synth, and I'm sure you guys all enjoy the Name That Synth segment. So I'd still like to keep pushing that during the, for the next 300 shows. So we'll go and have a look at what that is like in a second, and we'll go over what you need to do if you want to submit a Name That Synth. We'd still have a sponsor for that segment, so Skippy from Plugin Guru is still happy to give the prize out for that, which is good. But yeah, I think we'll stick with the main stuff. Hopefully you guys are enjoying that. Big hello to everyone else on the other platforms. Just while we're here, we're streaming on
TikTok.
Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, Trovo. I think that's it, and YouTube, of course, which is the main one. I do keep an eye on Twitch, and I have noticed that it's a bit of a tricky channel, to be honest, Twitch. But if you are wondering what the channel name is for Twitch, it's Synth Geekery, so it's twitch.tv/Synth Geekery. It's not Ranzee like it is on YouTube. I know it's confusing, but that's just, Ranzee was taken on Twitch. There's nothing I can do about it. But there are a huge amount of people watching on Twitch right now. There's one, and it's not me. So let's not even worry about it. Let's just keep going with the show, eh? Okay, now I've noticed that I forgot to set up the PTZ camera there. Actually, you guys might even be interested in this. This is what my desk looks like. You can see the back of my head. You ready? There you go. Look at that.
Oh, command and control.
Yay!
Yeah.
There you go. Screenshot.
gas
Look
over
at
there.
the size of that room. I mean, that's on the
I
end.
know, yeah. The mansion.
Dimension.
Yeah,
This is
mansion.
the only room. It's like, have you guys seen those synth diagrams, right?
No, that's it. It's going to be Ranzee in the mansion.
All right.
Mansion, yeah, yeah.
You do that,
Yeah.
Darren. It'll
The
go
Synth Geekery mansion. There it is.
Yeah. Now, I haven't. Have I got chatbot going? That's the question. Doesn't look like it is, does it? So we should get chatbot going. That's the only thing I think I've forgotten to do. And also mention to everyone that obviously there is a Zoom thing that you can do if you want to be part of the show. You can, not that one, click on Zoom, and I'll put the link up in just a sec. Just give me a sec. I'll pin it in the YouTube channel. My mouse is going that on the screen. I don't know why. Oh, probably because I launched chatbot. It's probably got some sort of malware in it. With the bit.ly, I've noticed, I don't know if you guys are the same. Bit.ly/Ranzee Zoom is the Zoom. There's the link. I'll just, if you do click on a bit.ly link now, it seems to go to a sort of a page, and then you got to click or say okay, or I don't know if it eventually times and then it goes. But it used to just go straight to it, right?
Yeah, it did, yeah.
So that's a bit of a pain. I'm going to have to find a new link scheduler. Anyway, chatbot's running. It should start in a second, hopefully. I do have to set the poll up, because that means I haven't set the poll up. Anyway, what else do we need to get going? We need to get the socials going. In a sec. I spent the last hour setting up the news segment, so if you're wondering why I'm feeling a little bit behind, it took me an hour to set up the news segment today. For some weird reason. Yeah. Just took me ages. Lots of blogging and things. Okay, what happened there? Okay, it says Synth Geekery 255. No, that's not the right one. Okay, now we're good. Alright, so that's good. That's running. We can put that on the screen. And chatbot, is that running? No, it still says it's offline. Okay. Don't know why it takes so long. Anyway, hurry up. Zoom, is that running? Zoom is running. There's no one in Zoom. Okay, cool. Right, so that's good. Let's start with the first segment, and we'll start off with this. Now, yes, it definitely has put the right things in. So we'll start off with the first clue for Synth Quiz, and that is vocoder. No, drum kit. Sorry, what am I saying? Drum kit. That is the first clue. There you go. So get that one into you. Boom. What is it going to be? Drum kit. Boom, boom. Who knows? Right. What have we got to do now? We have got to do funny side, and I think we'll get through funny side. While we're doing, I might start typing into the poll, so we got the poll ready to rock and roll. There's a few actually in here, so we'll do that, and we'll roll the stinger for funny side. Let's go. Now I have changed it. Sorry, one of you is going to be popped off. We can only fit 4 of us in. But anyway, let's start off with this one. All synthesizers must be digital by 2030. What did you say to that one, Chris?
I said, how dare you? How dare you?
Dare you? Yeah. Gretel. We'll just call that one Gretel, shall we?
God bless.
Yes, indeed. So that's the first one. Right, next. Where's my button? Why is it showing that blinking? Anyway, don't ask, don't ask, don't ask. This one is the average synth player according to marketing, and the average synth player based on observations.
Yeah.
We'll just
Very good.
We'll just call that average synth player. All right, next. What do we got? I suppose next you're going to tell us you have a synthesizer. We'll call this one Truth.
Struth.
Struth. Strike me right.
Stein the cries.
Oh, Bruce. Then there's no one else? Just you, my love. And synthesizers.
Wow.
I'll call that one Never Alone. Oh. How's that one? Only Pans?
Oh,
I do like that.
I like that.
Alex Ball, by the way, did that one. Big shout out to Alex.
Indeed.
Next is... This is the Swifty edition. I thought that was clever.
Golden. Yeah.
Now, do I need to explain that? That was the base station 2, wasn't it? The base station 2, and then it had the Swifty paint job, the blue and white.
Swifty.
Yeah. So it's actually quite funny how it took about 3 weeks for someone to realise that it's the Taylor Swifty edition. Anyway, let's keep going. And the last one is this one. The top 6 vintage synths that you have to buy now on my YouTube channel.
There you go.
They're so vintage. Oh
yeah.
They're so vintage. All right, boys and girls. We should launch the poll in the chat. Hopefully this works. It does say it's live. So let's try that. Did that work? Hey, it worked. All right, so if you're new and you haven't done the poll before, you type ! vote, and then a space, and then the number that corresponds to the favourite meme, starting with 0 for Gretel, 1 for the average synth player, 2 for the Truth, 3 for Never Alone, 4 for only pans, 5 for Swifty, and 6 for the top 6 vintage synths. And I can see people voting already. Wow, it's actually all over the place. Woohoo. Oh, we're getting some love for one here. You guys can see what people are voting anyway, because it actually says vote 1, vote 2, vote 4, vote. Yeah. I do believe if you vote and then you delete your message and then you vote again, it won't count. I think the poll already knows. Yeah. Come on, give it a go. Try it a couple of times. Do a vote, delete your message, do a vote. See if it works. See if you can spam it. Don't worry about it, Thomas. You're all good. All right. Shall we? Has everyone voted? Everyone's voted. Shall we release the hounds and show you guys what the? Oh, Kent's getting in.
Hounds.
Kent's getting in. Hang on, quick. What? Hang on. Here we go. Give a couple seconds to go. Oh, how much delayed are we today? What number was the one with the Doom Goblin?
Which one was that?
What's the Doom
Doom
Goblin?
Goblin.
Now you've got me. Just vote. Pick a number between 0 and 6 and you've done your job. I'm going to press stop on this poll, guys. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Go. Stop the poll. Do you want to notify chat of the winning option? Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. You can no longer post. The average synth player won with 9 votes. There you go.
Boo, fix.
It's not, but yeah, I mean, you get conspiracy theories or whatever you want to do. But if you're wondering,
flat earthers here.
if you're wondering what
Yeah.
that was the one that won. Obviously, it's an AI image. You can tell by the keyboard. Anyway,
Too many
well
black
done
keys.
for those who liked it. Everyone's saying rigged in the chat as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Demand a recount.
I don't have time to read through chat and get the sort of intonation of people's texts as I'm running the show. So if I have missed a joke, it's because I'm busy. Right. We are going to get stuck into news, guys. Now, gentlemen, I know I didn't send out an email this week because it was just too hard to. Do you want me just to do it all and then go the old way when you guys just make a comment on it? Should we do it that way this week? Are you guys happy for
You
that?
can do, because I've not looked at any anything this week.
Yeah. I've just done something on the
Unless-
PMT.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
you
do that
can
thing that
post.
you told
Okay.
me about.
I'm
Yeah.
do
So,
that, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
All right.
all
I
I've
can do that.
done. So.
Chris, I think you'll be on. I think you'll be on top
Yeah,
of some
I
of them.
Yeah, I was on top of one of the sequencer one that.
Okay. Well, that's coming up. All right. So we'll do the news, guys. Here we go. Well, that was a quick thing. Anyway, starting with ALM, they've released 2 products. I'm going to show you this one first, and then there's another one after this that I'll show you. So this is the PIP filter, and there's a video, so we'll get that lined up while I quickly get myself organised here. If I click on this, it's going to start playing, isn't it? I just know it. Oh, I was quick. Alright, am I logged in? No, I'm not, so it's going to show ads. Just give me a sec, sorry, it's annoying. If I don't log into YouTube, it'll show ads on the stream, and we don't want that. Just waiting for it to log in. Okay, here we go. Why don't we show the video first? Alright, we will show the video first because it's a pretty cool video. It does go for 7 minutes, but we're just going to do the intro bit because he does go into a lot of detail. Alright, here we go. Okay, that's the pip filter, just audio sort of demo wise. I have to fix that button. I need to go back to there. Okay, so what is it? You probably noticed it's actually two things. It's actually a filter, and it also has a little VCA thing in it. So if you don't know what those things are, you're probably at the wrong show. But anyway, it's compact for a start. Let's talk about that. It is a VCF, so it is a voltage control filter. It's not a digital filter. It does work on the low pass side of things, 4 HP form factor. But really what it's more about the fact that you can create these pingable sort of tonal shaping and dynamic controls with this filter. So it's basically the marriage between the VCA and the VCF. So you got a 12 dB octave slope, manual resonance control on this as well, and it's capable of self-oscillation. The only thing that I would like to have seen in this, because they had room to do it, I believe, was to make the resonance CV control. That would have been nice. Anyway, because then you can do keyboard tracking and things like that with that. Anyway, it does have dual frequency CV inputs. One is an attenuverter, and the other one offers about one. Oh, it does have 1 volt per octave tracking. There you go.
Tracking, yeah.
There you go. Pingable trigger input. Now that's so that you can do things like percussive and pluck sounds. That's what that's for, and that's why the VCA is there, so that provides the amplitude control over the filtered signal, so you can get a normal input for streamline patching, which is cool. So that way you don't actually have to have a VCA. You can just put your filter in, and away you go. I do like that. $122 US. It's translated from British pounds, approximately. It's available now. Any thoughts? There's another one I'm going to show in a sec. Any thoughts?
Reminds me a bit
is
of
this the second? Is this the second? Have they done this before? Or am I imagining it? Or is it a PIP? Is it a PIP LFO? I'm sure. I thought they had some. I haven't got it.
PIP FLO will be next.
PIP LFO's next, but there is another PIP product that they've had in the past.
That's probably what
I
I'm
think
thinking.
anything. Yeah, it's their small.
Basically,
compact.
Small compact stuff, quite neat and not expensive.
Similar to
and it's ALF.
a bit like the Pony series from Behringer.
Yeah, and a bit like the Pico series from Erica Synths.
Yeah.
They all start with P.
Yes.
Today's
P
show
on the brain.
is brought to you by the letter P.
By the letter P.
We'll go to the next one anyway. The PIP LFO. If you guys, one thing you'll notice about ALM Busy Circuits, they actually do make VCV rack versions of a lot of their modules as well.
Yeah.
So sometimes, if you're lucky in the future, they might actually make this as part of VCV rack, which is actually pretty cool. Anyway, this is a pretty interesting LFO. It's an all analog low frequency oscillator, of course. It's voltage controlled. It occupies just 4 HP again, so that's why it's got the PIP label on it. It does have multiple waveforms on it, so you'll notice there's a ramp, triangle, and a sine wave, but there's also the square wave as well. But the others have the plus, minus, and plus, so inverted versions of it. So it's interesting. This actually, I don't really know if I've seen an LFO do some of these things. It's interesting in a way. So let's have a little look at the vid, and we'll get going with what it does after. So you would have noticed in the video that he did say that it can be converted into a VCO, and that's what that big juicy blue button is for. So you can convert your LFO into a VCO, which is kind of cool. Yeah. So you would have noticed he talks about unipolar and bipolar outputs, providing both unipolar and bipolar waveform outputs for flexibility and modulation. So that's why you've got the plus minus on the left hand side and just the plus on the right, so you can have it so that it's either or both. It does have a reset and a reset/sync input up the top right hand corner. Now that is something I love about some LFOs. So if you want to clock your LFO and you want to make sure that it starts again on a beat cycle, that reset little CV control is actually beautiful. And there's only a few LFOs I've got here in my little sort of controls here that have got it, and I probably use them more than the ones that don't, unless I'm doing free running stuff, of course. So it's a cool little thing. I'm also thinking that I like the fact that it's both VCO and LFO, and for me, yeah, maybe you can use it as an oscillator, which is kind of cool, but I'm thinking that you probably want to use it as a modulating VCO, because that's also really cool as well. So it can go into like the audio rate stuff, which is handy for things. Yeah, 122 US again for the same price. Anyone want to make a comment about this? Just an LFO.
But it's 4 HP.
Yeah,
which is handy. Yeah, and the shifted.
Yeah, so the slowly making
saves you
quite a
having
few
to saves you having to run it into an offset voltage module. So yeah, it's
indeed
sensible.
Indeed,
very sensible design.
Yeah, it's clever to have it switchable to LFO VCO. It's nice.
Is the price good?
Was it
122 US?
For ALM, it's pretty kind of average.
Yep.
Kind of price range for them, I reckon.
How much is it in GB? Well, you can chuck 122 US dollars into Google and say, tell me how much that is in British pounds, and it will tell you the answer. Because it's good like that. I can't do that while I'm doing the show. Anyway, that's the two ALM, I should say, modules that have popped out. Now they've actually just come out. I think it's today. So
£90 in UK.
There you go, 90 quid. Awesome.
What's not to like?
What not to like? What about this? This is called the Mod 2. It's by a it's a DIY project by Hagiwo, who's actually a Japanese engineer, and he's done this because he's kind of got himself into Eurorack and he wants to make some things. And I love how he's gone about it. There's in the blog article, which you guys can see below. Actually, I should check to see. Let me just see if this works. So news 2, news 3. Yeah, I'm getting bad server response. Oh no, there we go. Got it. Ooh. That's the LFO, and this one coming up should be the link to this one. Hopefully it comes. I'm getting errors, I don't know why, but anyway, cool. That one is the Hagiwo Mod 2 link if you guys want to check it out. There's links in my blog article on the build information on how to make this. There is actually, he's done a video. So let's have a little look at this first, because it'll kind of give you an idea of what it's about. That's not it. Why did it do that? Went to the wrong video. Try again. There we go. So top controls pitch. Second pot selects 1 to 6 samples, and then you've got 3 banks. All right, so I mean, he's just going to play samples through his video, but you'll notice that there's a trigger button on there that you can actually trigger the samples manually with the button, and then below you have, I should go back to the graphic, shouldn't I? Below you have 2 ins and 1 out, and the CV control. The CV control's for the triggering. So yeah, that's what that's about. So pot 1 is the pitch, pot 2 is the bank, pot 3 is the sample select. So maybe if you were going to make this, you might want to relabel those. But then again, he might have other ideas for this project. Yeah.
Da Vinci Goes just asking: are the drum samples physical modelling? Do we know?
No, it's just a sample player.
Yeah.
No.
It's purely just a sample player.
They're just 18 WAV files.
Yeah. It's if you're wondering what he uses,
20 seconds.
He uses the RP 2040 for this. So yeah, it's the microcontroller,
Raspberry Pi compute module.
Yep. But it's the Chinese hacked version of it, if that makes sense. The RP 2040, because it's the Seed Zhao version.
Seed Zhao.
Yeah. What else can I tell you? It actually has a whole bunch of documented code available for the source, open source stuff. It also has PC Gerber files and assembly data as well. So if you guys are really, really into this stuff, we are in this show today. We are going to talk a little bit about DIY.
We can find out for ourselves.
Because you guys have probably noticed that I've put a few live streams up during the week. So we will talk about DIY, and for those who are scared of it, like I know Daren's scared of it, not in a bad way, but Daren's scared of it. And
I'm not scared of it. I just don't really have the time to sit and make.
Doesn't have the time. Yeah.
Just use
scared of spending time. Yeah, there you go. What the other thing I can mention too is apparently this is AI friendly hardware. This is the other thing that kind of so when I look for things to show on the show,
oh god,
I look at stuff and I'm like, what does that mean? Like if it sort of pricks my ears and goes, hang on a minute, what does that mean? What does AI friendly hardware mean? Designed to facilitate software variations using generative AI. What does it mean? This thing's going to make us coffee if you ask it to? I'm not sure. What does that actually mean?
It means it's It means digestible by ChatGPT.
It means it's a buzzword.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Maybe you could tell ChatGPT where to find the open source code for it, and then say, "I want you to modify this and make me coffee," and it might be able to do it. I don't know.
And have a virtual date with it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You're just gonna keep pressing that trig button, aren't you, Eddie? I know what you're doing. There's no price, obviously, because it's a DIY. But this guy, I don't know if you saw it on the video, but this guy's got a whole bunch of DIY modules that he's kind of labeled them with a little sticky label on top. I'll just go back to the graphic here. You see that? How he's got a Euclidean sequencer?
Oh, yeah.
And it's literally the same module layout. And then he's got a RND CV, so a random CV generator. And then he's got a 3-channel LFO. So he's using the same thing to doing a whole bunch of stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if you guys go fiddling around on his Google Docs. Well, it's actually called note.com, the actual links where he's got his notes. You can go have a look, see what else he's got in there.
What was the price on this again? I missed it.
It's free because you're going to make it yourself.
Oh, right, okay, right. He just gives you the plans for it.
Yeah, he gives you the free plans.
Parts.
Right. There you go.
Yeah. So the thing with that, Chris, you can back me up here.
Of course you have to.
I guarantee you, if I did this, right, if I decided to make a DIY open source module, there would be literally crickets of people. It would be so quiet. There would be hardly anyone that would be interested in it. And it's because of what Daren said, because nobody has the time. Nobody has the time.
It does put off a lot of people, I guess.
Yeah. But hopefully this guy...
It's more the troubleshooting time. It's not the build time so much as the troubleshooting when you have issues and stuff. So
Yeah, could
That
be.
is true. That is so true.
Yeah.
I remember I built a
when
hi-fi amp once. It took me forever to find out where the dry joints were.
Yep.
It can, yeah.
You guys need to drink
Yeah,
more
and
water.
then you think, I could have just bought it and then I've been away using it, doing it, playing it, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, personally for me...
Instead, I'm in a world of pain.
It's just a sample player, so it doesn't really excite me that much. But what kind of did excite me was that AI thing, and the second thing was that he's used this literally the same layout with 3 other modules, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if all you had to do was change the firmware on the module itself, right? And then it became those 3 things. Or maybe it was a little text file that you just got it to point to or something like that. These sort of things are cool.
here's a quick example. I had an Arduino drum kit I put together once. It was, I don't know, a couple hours worth of work. It wasn't that much work. And then the code loaded properly off the little cable. Everything seemed fine. And the joints looked okay to me. And so I don't get it. So I went to my friend who's like a engineer expert, former IBM guy. And I said, hey, can you check this out for me? And he goes, yeah, all your joints check out. Everything's cool. The code even reloaded. But the damn thing didn't work. And I have no idea why. So it just went in a box. And it was like, it's frustrating, right? So.
Yeah. Well, you know how much time I've spent on my Ornament and Crime.
Lack of support.
How much trouble I had with my Ornament and Crime. Bought a second Teensy, all that sort of stuff. And in the end, it was the actual module itself that died. So, sometimes you just get unlucky with these projects. And that's the risk that you take. So if you're like once bitten, twice shy, if that's kind of how you are, then stay away from DIY, I guess. Thanks, Jack, for the happy 300th. Okay, shall we go to the next? The next thing is this. I didn't get a chance this week to sort of edit these photos because they've all got white backgrounds and I hate it. But anyway, we'll persevere. This is Producely Dialer. So the company is Producely and the product is called Dialer. You guys would have seen this in the Synth Fest France, or what do they call it? I can't remember what they call that thing.
Synth. It's Synthfest, isn't it? It's just Synthfest.
Yeah, I stay away from it because they get nasty with me for some reason.
Yeah, don't mess with the French on the synth stuff. So
anyway, this is Producely Dialer. It's an AI-powered hardware controller designed to streamline VST plugins and control them for music. So basically, when they're saying streamline it, so it maps to those knobs on the top and the bottom, and you've got a screen. I'm going to show you, there's a little video on this, but it's kind of interesting. It's got AI cloud mapping. It uses an AI to scan plugin architectures, right? And then it provides this kind of profile. It sort of goes, right, show me the VST, right, cool. I'm going to scan it. I'm going to work out what it does. I've got some ideas about this, trust me. Let's see if we can break the AI. Anyway, it goes and does that, and then it automatically maps them to the little knobs, okay? And then you should be able to use that VST on this thing as a standalone VST device, right? It does support VST3 and AU plugins, and it supports them on both Mac OS and Windows 10 or later. So OS 14 if you're wondering what Mac version, or later. Currently compatible with Ableton 11 and Cubase 14, and have plans to expand this. So the profiles are stored locally, and it has functionality and you don't have an internet connection. It's got 12 analog knobs, 7-inch LCD touchscreen, 2 clickable step encoders, 3 clickable buttons. They reckon it's a muscle memory friendly layout for musicians. So it has consistent parameter placement, like for example, the CV frequency knob will usually be in the same spot. If that makes sense, right? It supports over 100,000 VSTs and AU plugins, they're saying. Pretty big claim. There's an introductory price of €649 on this. It will go to $749 when they are happy that they've got enough money. And there's a video. cool little marketing video. Did you guys, any of you guys, check this out during the Synth France thing, or do you guys know about this? Anyone want to make a comment? Daren, put you in the corner.
I didn't see it, but if it works as it's supposed to work, I think I quite like it. If it works. Bit expensive, but yeah. It's well, this has been like in the works for a while. People have always wanted some sort of hardware that will map to VSTs without you programming it, and it's sort of been people have been trying to do this for a while. So yeah, I mean, have they finally done it where it will actually map to any VST? No, it might look like won't actually give me the parameters that I want. I want on the right buttons, but but yeah, I sort of quite like it. It's like that. It's maybe if it works really well. What do you think, Rance? Because remember, I think we talked about this ages ago, even when the show first started, about someone coming up with hardware to sort of map your VSTs and stuff.
I was skeptical when I was reading about this, to be honest, Daren.
Yeah, I mean, Manny's just said it fits the just a VST in a box theme. He does, doesn't it? So I'm not sure about it either. You know, I understand. I sort of understand the price to some extent, I suppose. You know.
Yeah, I get. I mean, it would have to come down, but I see why it's so expensive. But I mean, yeah, I'd rather if you can you call up the VST as well? Would that be it, or is it just you've got to click the VST, put the VST? I mean,
the other question is, can you only use one VST at a time? So if you're going to use it live, can you chain the VSTs? So use it like an effects processor.
Yeah. Go forwards and backwards.
Yeah, if you've got like 5 VSTs in the bottom on your rack in Ableton, for instance, you're going to have to be able to flick through. You can't, unless you just picks the first VST and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, the organelle does some of this. Obviously, it's not bought VSTs, but you can. It's quite difficult to chain VSTs in an organelle. It is actually possible, but I've never been able to make it work properly. You know, so it's doing software things like this. If it's just one VST, then for me it's pointless.
Well, the thing that worries me about it, Daren, to answer your question, because you did say, what do I think? I think there's probably 2 areas where this kind of doesn't really interest me. And the first one is it's relying on some cloud thing to do the mapping. The moment that becomes obsolete, the whole thing will become obsolete.
Oh yeah, good point.
The second thing is it's a controller, so it's not really a standalone synth. You know, like, so for example, say you wanted to get massive, you know, from Native Instruments and put this on here, and then unplug it from your DAW and then walk around and put it in your studio with no DAW connection or anything and just plug it in. It doesn't do that. It's a controller.
Oh yeah. Well, I get that. I get it's just a controller because. Well, that's what we were saying early in the shot. You know, going way back. It was originally people come out with controllers for the VST synths, so that you don't have to use your mouse all the time to get the. But like Ian was saying, if you can't if you've got like 3 or 4 VSTs on, for instance, Ableton on a rack, and you're not using macros, and it can only do one VST at a time, and then like that's pointless. And like you said, if it is cloud based and you can't get it back into the actual unit itself, and you just don't do any updates, or it just goes pear shaped, then you've just got a brick.
I mean, I kind of like what they've done. I like the idea, the mentality behind it is actually kind of, it's a good path to travel on. But they're not a big company. I don't know whether they're owned by someone else or if it's just a small group of guys or what the story is. But it looked to me like it's a small group of, you know, people. It might even be a one-person band. I'm not sure. But you'd have to be worried about, you know, investing €650 or $750 when it goes to their normal price into something that you don't really know how much future it's got. It's you know, it's kind of it's a scratch your head sort of thing. I do wish them well, though.
Yeah. Well, like you say, VSTs are changing all the time and introducing more new ones.
Yep.
So I mean,
Yep.
how quickly they're going to keep it up to date is the fact. Even if they were keeping it updated.
I think I'd just ask them the question, have you solved the issues that plagued people in the past when they tried to do this? Before I'd pass over any money, because there were, I mean, it's been tried before, and, you know, with
And
some
it's only two
success, but it
formats.
didn't, yeah.
Sorry, Chris, go.
So, no, it's okay. Yeah, have they solved the problems of the past, or have they just gone, oh yeah, no, someone hasn't done that for a while, let's do it. We'll do it better because we're younger and smarter.
Yeah, because the V Machine was a good box, VST in a box solution, but it didn't have a nice graphic display. It was more simplified, but you could load all kinds of VSTs into it, assuming they were compatible. But I don't know. The future of this thing might be pretty iffy. The guitar stomp box thing by Digitech was much better because it was a standalone thing. You flash it from the iOS app, and it just works without a computer, without anything. You know.
Yeah, like any of those things that run the firmware on the actual unit, you know, and it's sort of dumped over to it. At least you can freeze it in time.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
If updates stop, at least you can keep your box operating.
Until you flash it again, it stays that unit forever. So.
Yeah.
With the connection to the cloud. And, you know,
I've got an amplifier which does guitar. Sorry, I've got a guitar. It does guitar, bass, and keyboards, and you can, you know, with the app, choose which sets of presets you want to use. It's only one step up from that. Yes, I ain't able to choose a particular VST, but I can certainly choose, you know, certain types of presets or certain types of sounds, you know. You know, and that's been out for a good 2 or 3 years. That's a Yamaha 10 guitar amp, but it does keyboards as well and bass. That's why I bought it.
Yeah, the other thing too is, I mean, MIDI 2.0 is going to hit us in a big way, and I'm actually quite surprised it hasn't really launched just yet. But anyway, it will, and it's just a matter of time, not a matter of it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, basically. Once MIDI 2.0 hits us, there'll be a lot of, I reckon there'll be a lot of sort of boutique devices like this that'll come out that will just utilize the inherent mapping that MIDI 2.0 will offer just out of the box, because that's what it does. That's the whole benefit of MIDI 2.0. You probably won't need, you know, these sort of fancy AI cloud algorithms and things like that to do it. And for VSTs, if people are programming VSTs, they will, you know, they'd be mad if they didn't. They would implement them with MIDI 2.0. So, you know, that way you'd be able to get, like kind of what Omnisphere did. Do you remember when Omnisphere did the thing where you could actually, you know, you could turn your Omnisphere into
the hardware
system
the hardware.
Yeah,
they've got the hardware versions. It's cool. Yeah, see that worked brilliantly, didn't it? That was cool.
Yeah.
If you had that particular hardware, it works seamlessly with the VST. Like I said, when I first said I like it, but like I said, I was so I like the idea. People have always come out with this idea, but it's just whether it ever work and will it be practical at the end of the day.
I think, you know, MIDI 2.0, you know, will solve a lot of these problems. And if this particular product is something that someone needs right now, then that's, you know, that's an insta buy. If that helps you, you know, maybe you're using a lot of VST plugins and you just don't have time to map them. So I can see where it's got a niche, but I don't know if there's that many people that are in that sort of, in that world. I'm not sure.
I could see it turning up in mastering houses and places like that, where they really like a nice clean display with lots of knobs.
Speaking of cloud stuff, there's one example that was kind of annoying. If you had the original Novation circuit, and it was kind of a baked unit, and then they said, oh, we have this new cloud editor now. You can go in and do all kinds of cool stuff and load your samples that way. And it was clever, but man, it was so annoying because you always had to be in the cloud to do anything else with the device.
Yeah.
So if you're in the
That is
studio all
true.
the time on the internet constantly, it's no big deal. But if it's a mobile device, and you go, oh, hold on, I got to get to the cloud to add my new samples. It was really stupid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway.
Yes, there's the original circuit up there, by the way.
And mine's
it's
in
a great
its
unit. I
case
still
over
use it
there.
once in a while.
I love
Yeah,
it.
but the
Actually,
whole cloud
need to get back to it. Actually, yeah, the cloud thing is clunky. That was my knee.
I got rid of my circuit because I just wasn't using it. I mean, I have an MPC, so I didn't really.
Yeah. I did toy with the idea of getting the tracks at one point. I need to.
Circuit Tracks is good. I got that one too. It's
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Let's go back into Eurorack land because this thing actually has a couple of us really intrigued, and that is this called the discrete map. I'm just going to pop you off the corner there for a sec, Daren, because I want to see that top right-hand corner. This is a really interesting. I don't know what you'd call it, Chris. It's a
Rant-based
it's a
sequencer?
reimaginating
Voltage
sequencing, isn't it? In a way.
Yeah.
So it's got a continuous time
It's a
voltage
positional
address
sequencer.
approach. Yeah. So you get that sort of autonomous generative type precise user control with it, if that makes sense. 8-step sequencer, which uses the faders to set output voltages, and the upper faders are the output voltages, and the lower faders define the threshold and positions of the durations of those steps, basically. So I'm trying to think, what do I have that's kind of similar to this? And I thought of the voltage block by Maleko. I thought, yeah, there's a little bit of that in this, but no, this goes way beyond that. So it has two modes. It's dual mode. It has a position mode, so you can actually set absolute threshold positions, and it has a length mode, and it determines the duration between the threshold. It's got an internal clock. It's got some audio rate operation as well. It actually functions as a graphic VCO with 7 octaves of temperature compensating tracking, wave shaping, or bit crushing, which is kind of cool because there's all these little other bits and pieces that it can do. And I thought about it, and I thought, do you remember when I did that video with Advanced 960, and I was showing how you could use the 960 as an oscillator? And then you as long as you can visualize it, you could do different kind of weird looking waveforms. This is kind of sort of heading in that direction, but does it obviously a lot better. The other cool thing, Chris, you'd like this, it's got a precision adder in it. It's got configurable octave ranges as well. Yeah. So it's not just, here's the octave range, it's configurable. So I like that. So you can have -5 to 5, 0 to 5, or 0 to 2.5. And there's an ABC expander that's an optional extra product, and I've got a graphic that I'll show you in the video for that, which adds a whole bunch more functionality, which I'll go into in a sec. It's pretty big module. This is not including the expander. It's 34 HP, and you're looking at about 479 US for this, and then 199 for the expander. Anyway, let's have a look at the video, and we will come back afterwards and have a chat about it. I'm get in trouble for this video if I don't stop it in a second. And then we can... So this is a guy that's done the video, and he's just talking about different things that it can do. Chris, I'm going to get you to talk about what you thought of this first. So let's go back here, because I know you're interested in it.
Yeah, so I've been interested in positional sequences for a while now. So when this turned up, it did recognise what it was. I think the one I know about is there is actually one in the 2500, the UP 2500. I think that is a positional based. Their voltage block, I think, one of the voltage blocks. That was the first time I encountered this concept of, instead of clocking positions in voltage, you actually use a ramp waveform to produce the voltages by taking that voltage ramp and saying at certain discrete intervals, in a conventional sequence it would be anyway, that means step 1, that means step 2, that means step 3, that means step 4. So what they've done here is that they've made all of those positions configurable in the 8 steps. Or, alternatively, when you set it to length mode, it controls the length of time that that step will spend in the full waveform of a saw wave. Then on top of that, of course, the waveform can, as the one that generates internally, you can feed your own waveform, which means what you're really doing here is feeding in a position, an analog position, and saying, this is where I want you to go in the sort of world of voltages. And it'll basically respond exactly as you tell it to, and it has 2 modes, an above and a below mode, so that each stage either triggers when it crosses the threshold in the upwards direction, or it falls through the threshold in the downward direction. And depending on where you set that switch, you can get it to do things like play a whole lot of voltages and then do nothing for a bar, and then play more voltages and then play nothing for a bar. Or if you use a mixture of above and belows on each step, because each step has the rise and fall setting on each step, so you can determine whether it's when it goes over the voltage in the upward direction that it triggers that step, or falls. So you end up with quite complex, longer than 8-step sequences out of it, because it really is playing around with context. I guess the context of voltage is coming into the system, not just the raw position.
Yep.
So this is very, very clever, very, very sophisticated, very expensive, but kind of mind-blowing in a way.
Yeah.
And quite inspiring, I think, for clone products and derived products or inspired products.
Yep.
So that's what's been going through my head. That's cool, but could we do something similar that kind of takes the advantages of it and the sort of new potential avenues of composition out of it, but without the price tag and the HP? I don't know. It's got me thinking, So that's my unique take on the sort of what it means to me. It's not something I think I'm going to be running and buying, but it is definitely something I'm going to be putting on a bucket list or something, because it does seem pretty cool. And as I said,
what was the price again?
When you switch it, $479 I think.
Okay.
That's what you said, Rance. And $199 for the expander, which we'll get to in a moment. And of course, this has the 2 modes as well of whether it's running at audio rate or normal sequencing rate kind of thing, which I know a lot of sequences can do. But this one, because it is fully analog, there's not a digital. Well, there's digital components in it, I'm sure they say, but basically there's no computer, there's no microcontroller. It's all done discreetly with, I think they said, over 800 components.
Yeah.
And then boasted that it was possibly the most complex eurorack module ever made, which I thought was definitely tongue-in-cheek. So that it is designed to run at audio rates, so it is screaming out, buy this if you really do want to play in that playground. And I encourage you to look at DivKid's video, because he does comprehensively go over this, dives very deep. It's an hour-long video, and it's really quite enjoyable, I found, and does give you some cool ideas. So yeah, the expander. Do you want me to talk about the expander, or
no,
talk about it,
no, we'll just show it. One of the benefits, I guess, is with this type of sequencer is the fact that you're using control voltage. So if you're in that eurorack, this is okay. So when you're looking at this and you're a beginner in eurorack, and this is not meant to be any sort of rudeness or anything, but this is probably not classified as a beginner module. This would be someone who's got already a pretty extensive system, with quite a lot of different, devices, different oscillators and things like that, different kits. That's probably what this is more aimed at. I feel like
it's kind of expert mode from the beginning, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean,
I agree.
you could, if you understood it, you could start. This is kind of where I wanted to go with this idea.
Yeah, and
you could start a system with this and actually build around it. So this is kind of almost like the brain. You could go that way if you wanted to, because it has a different take on the way it sequences, which makes interesting sort of outcomes musically.
It's got some cool cross-patching potential as well, because it has the transpose input built into it, and a few other things. There's a reset on the end of a cycle trigger, which can go and change the above and the below group, and it just does some pretty freaky kind of cross-patching tricks as well. So it's definitely, it's a voltage playground. It's definitely designed to, people who are looking for something, going somewhere they haven't been before. But it is interesting that it is kind of based on some old concepts, because I think this is sort of Buchla territory. This kind of concept originated. So, again, the past coming back, but this time it's been reimagined. I think they've done the classic thing as well with any of that stuff when they bring it back. So they tried to make it understandable, comprehensible. That those orange LEDs down the side on the second row tells you the position of the waveform that's controlling the voltage. So you get, as well as knowing what stages are being triggered at the top LEDs, that little thing down the side is really quite illustrative on what you're feeding to the module and why it's doing what it's doing. So I kind of like the way it explains itself. I found it quite self-explanatory once you watch the video.
The other thing too is, I think we should probably mention the guys themselves, the New Systems Instruments. They actually have some pretty cool modules. If while you're looking at this, have a look at what else they've got. Right, it kind of perked my ears to use a bad pun. But this is their website. So if you just go to their homepage, obviously it shows their modules from the start, the most recent ones. But some of these other modules, like the triphase oscillator, inertia, a harmonic shift oscillator. So just if you looked at those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 modules across the top, that's going to give you some interesting difference compared to like a very standard normal type eurorack system. Using some newer sort of ideas. I mean, yes, they've got some Buchla influences there,
heritage, yeah,
but it's not. It's not. Oh, we're doing the Buchla, 953. They're not doing that. They're taking a little bit of that and adding a bit of salt and pepper, and giving it a mix and coming up with their own stuff. And that's what I like about these guys. Really, really cool. If I can afford it, I'm going to get myself one of these, because I can see me using that. Yeah. I'm thinking you're probably the same, right, Chris?
Using it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not completely sold on the aesthetics of it. As I said, I find it very functional and explanatory, but I don't find it particularly beautiful.
Musically, it looks a bit daunting. It looks a little bit linear that way. I kind of feel the same in that sense, but I feel like if you did it in another way, it would be too complex. I feel like you'd have to lay it out in this way.
Yeah, I'm not saying I know how it would make it more beautiful. It's just one of those things that doesn't leap off the. It doesn't. It's not one of those modules that you're going to put in your rack and people are going to go, "What the hell's that?" Because it does kind of blend in a bit.
Yeah.
Even though it's very big, it does kind of blend in a bit. It looks like anything with 8 faders on it. It looks like
different. A mixer or a sequencer.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of what I mean. Is it kind of doesn't look, doesn't stand out. Some modules try to do that, and that's sort of part of their charm. But this one's very much function, which is cool as well.
Yeah,
I dig that too. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for news, guys. And I thought while we wrap up the news, I thought what we might do is we'll give you the second clue for the synth quiz while we're at it. And I did kind of actually let it slip before. It is vocoder. Now that you've got two of the clues, maybe you might want to put your guess in. If you do want to put your guess in, put my name, Ranzee, so it highlights me. Excuse me, I've got indigestion. Ranzee, so I can see it, and then synth quiz, and then your guess. And that will help me in the YouTube chat. If you're watching on any of the other platforms, chuck it in the comments. Let us know. Chuck it in the Twitch chat as well. I will think we should probably get on to I reckon
just before you move.
Oh, that's right. You want to do yours, weren't you? Yes. Let's go to you. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the UK this week, PMT have gone bust. Now PMT, which used to be Professional Music Technology, then for some reason there was a buyout or a rescue a few years ago, became Play Music Today. What it means for us is that 11 stores have gone bust, with 96 staff already made redundant and another 48 staff who were retained at the moment to help the administrator wind things up. So it's another massive hit for, well, it's happening all over Europe, isn't it? And in the States to some extent, but another really big music shop has gone. Interestingly, I've just looked at their last year's figures. They turned over 43 million in gross in turnover, but they made a £280,000 loss on that 43 million. So they managed to pay the wages, but there was quite a lot, and it was slightly even worse in 2023. So this has been happening. This has been going on for quite a while, really. The company was run by a guy called David Black since October 2019, and his financial officer, a guy called Ian Sumner. So I guess the buck stops with those two guys, really. Interestingly, the assets, or shall we say, the stock and the name and the website have been sold to Gear for Music for reputedly 1.2 or 1.4 million. Apparently, it's worth quite a bit. It's worth 3.9 million. I had a quick look at Gear for Music actually as well. In comparison, Gear for Music last year turned over 143.3 million. They were 5% down on the previous year, but they made a profit of 1.8 million, and that's just in the UK. That's not taking into account their business that's in Europe. So consequently, and they've got 3.9 million in the bank, so they can easily afford to buy the assets of PMT. It's just, it's really sad to some extent that here we are again, and and I'm not sorry for David Black and his mate, but I am really sorry for the staff, for the people, the ordinary people that have worked in those stores across the country. The nearest one to me when I was in Yorkshire was Leeds, and I did go in a few times. The nearest one here is Bristol. So it's really, really sad. But
the nearest one to me was about 6 miles away, might be 7 miles away, just going into Manchester on Regent Road. I remember going past that a few times, never been in it. It's also worth mentioning that if you've got any outstanding orders, you can forget it, because you'll be way down the pecking order in terms of debtors. So outstanding orders. Gear for Music have also said about warranty, they are not taking any liability for PMT warranty, but it's worth mentioning there is a manufacturer's warranty, or there should be. So if you have anything that you bought from PMT in the last year, it will still be under the warranty of the manufacturer. And Gear for Music are prepared to try and talk to the manufacturer on your behalf, but they won't take any responsibility for the goods. So you're not going to get it. If you bought it last week and it's gone wrong, they're not going to swap it out for you. So yeah, another one bites the dust, sadly. Yeah, that's quite a few now, isn't it? There's very few left. Actual
it's
chains where you can go to actually music.
it is interesting that Gear for Music are becoming the major player in this field. I do remember talking to a rep when we had the shop, and even back, that was like 8-9 years ago, and him saying that if Gear for Music went bust, they would take certain manufacturers with them.
Gear for Music are kind of very similar to the way Sweetwater run in the US. So they're almost like a copycat Sweetwater, because Sweetwater have been around for a lot longer than Gear for Music have. But it's basically an online. It's gone to like an online business.
Yeah. There's a football size showroom in York, which I've been in quite a few times. It's not great actually, and the front of house staff aren't great, or they weren't a few years ago. But yeah, it is very much like that, really. But they're a public limited company, so
yeah,
they've got shareholders and all that sort of stuff. It is interesting. There was one extra stat that I had was on that. Yeah, the fact, if you think about that. The 143 million that they earned last year, but their profit was only 1.8 million. So that's a massive turnover on what is not a very big profit margin, really.
Yeah.
Yes, they made profit and they had money in the bank, which is a good thing, but it just shows you that music margins. Retail generally, you ain't going to make a lot of money unless you're turning over a massive amount. Really, when I had the talking to music, the front of house sales wasn't the thing that really made the money. It was us doing lessons and all the other bits and pieces. So you need to be, if you're a small mum and pop shop, wherever you are, you need to be doing something else than waiting for customers to walk through your door, because you're not going to survive. And we were always fighting with Gear for Music on price. Sometimes we were cheaper than them, but we had to work at that.
Yeah.
All
right. So yeah, we did the synth quiz.
Yep.
We did. I think we're ready for the third segment, which is Price Watch. Everybody's favourite.
Yeah.
So you're wondering what Price Watch is. It's all about gear that we've found and we think you guys might be interested in. It's not necessarily a scam, but we do have the links to all the Price Watch items on the blog article, which is posted beautifully by the chatbot, actually. I've actually solved that error that was coming up. I had 2 chatbots running, so that's why I was getting the error. So the Streamlabs error now is gone. Anyway, so all of these are live, excuse me, on various platforms like Reverb. This is a Model D. This is actually a fully serviced 1970s Model D. Someone who knows about stuff will be able to work out which model it is. But yeah, this guy goes into a lot of detail about what he's done in the servicing. I'll bring it over. So it's a whole bunch of mechanically and replaced components and a whole bunch of stuff. This one is in Canada, in Maple Ridge. I haven't seen much stuff pop out of Canada, so that's why it's 17,000 Aussie dollars, half that for pounds. A lot of money for shipping. That's a lot of money. $581 to ship something.
I saw the shipping thing and went, what?
That's a lot of money. Like, no one's going to do that. I mean, I could catch a plane almost for that and pick it up by hand. That's crazy sort of money. So, yeah. Anyway, it'd probably be safer to do it too, as a general rule of thumb. Take it back. So, yeah, Model D. I don't know if you guys... Do you love Model Ds?
I always wanted one.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only Moog I'd buy.
We won't go into that because that's negative.
Not real Model Ds.
That's
No, it's
negative.
not. Sorry, I apologise, but it is the only one that I would really be interested in.
Right, this one a little MPC after my heart. That was my MPC before I got the Live. I had the MPC 1000. This has got the JJOS operating system on it. It's only about 480 pounds. It's pretty cheap. And you have to understand, these things have got a compact flash card in them. They're really, really easy to get beats and stuff. But if you know how to get around the JJOS, it's actually a little bit of a pain in the ass. But that one is based in Illinois, in Chicago, in the US. And it's on Reverb. There's not really much in the listing, though. A couple of photos, I guess. I could probably do that. I forgot to do photos on the other one, didn't I? Anyway.
I have the 500, which is basically no fancy screen on it, but it's basically the same layout.
Yeah. But there's the back of it, right? And this is the thing that a lot of people don't realize. They are really well kitted out, these things. They're still, to this day, I still think they're quite capable sampler / controller. And even a lot of people don't realize this, but you can actually use this with a digital ADAT / SPDIF type setup. I used to use mine on my Roland MX1. So it was literally digital straight in. Digital to digital. There's a video I think I did it on it. But anyway, that is the MPC 1000, and it's good to see these still floating about, and they're not completely dead. The next one, I think, if Andrew was watching, he would love this one, and that is the EMU Systems Proteus. This is the 32 voice sampler module. The world version, right? The third world, or Proteus 3. I don't know how you'd say. But yeah, not a lot talking about this on the Reverb listing. The photos are pretty much just replicating. Synth City's a reputable bunch, so they're not a bad thing. They're also in the same guys as the MPC 1000.
So if you have a Proteus 2000 or a command station, the Protozoa ROM covers all three of these modules, 1, 2, and 3, on one ROM.
On the one, yeah.
So,
but $200 in pounds, somewhere just over that, 260 or something, 280 in US would get you that if you're into that. I mean, some people want it for that specific reason, though. Andy,
they're good. Yeah, they're nice.
Yeah. Then the last one, I think it's the last one. Yeah, it is the last one. This is an Octave Cat. Haven't seen a Cat for a while. Selling secondhand, which is interesting because, you know, obviously the Behringer module version 1 came out. This one's on eBay. So, you know, not everything's on Reverb, which is kind of interesting that people are still selling synths on eBay and risking it in the ghetto of eBay. But you've got
bad neighborhood, man.
Yeah,
Bad neighborhood.
bad neighborhood. They have those interesting sliders, don't they? The
round knobs. Yeah.
I think I've made this clear over the years, but I'm not a big fan of the Cat, personally.
It looks in nice condition, though.
It's just a synth that never really wowed me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Behringer has their version too. So
yeah, true.
Well, that's what I said before. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I haven't seen many of these. I think is because they're just not getting out there. People are just holding on to them. $2,300 for that one, and that one is based in New York, in Woodbury.
there's some cool little things that they do. The Centaur did a video a long time ago when they restored, and I didn't realize some of the features are quite nice on this thing actually. But you have to dig into it. So
Yeah, still not going to convince me. Sorry.
Oh, me really? Not at £1,600, £1,700.
Yeah, it's not really about that. It's just, for me, it was just, I never really enjoyed what it did. I don't think it did anything. I think there was plenty of synths. I mean, in its day it might have, but these days there's.
How about the kitten? The little kitten one.
The kitten, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, no, not for me. Yep. Right, so that's Price Watch done. What would you guys get out of Price Watch. We had the Mini Moog, the MPC 1000, the Emu vintage cartridge module thing, and the Octave Cat. This one you can see here.
Mini Moog.
Even at that price.
Yeah.
Even at that price. That was pretty insane.
Well, I wasn't looking at price.
Oh.
Who does that?
Price is not, in this world, price is not actually.
It's about £8,500.
More segment.
Yeah.
I don't know then, actually.
Tough one this
I'd
week.
go for the. I'd try the MPC 1000.
Thought that was a
I say
deal.
that's reasonable, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Never had one of them, so.
I mean, I sold mine for less than that when I sold mine used. So, but mine was the black version. I had the black. This is the blue. I don't know if you call it blue, but whatever color it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd probably go the MCL 1000 too. I don't need it though.
EMU might be quite fun for a while.
They are fun. The world sounds are nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you'll recognise them. That's the thing.
Yeah.
When you get those, you'll definitely recognise them.
Well, they even have unusual things like the the bull roarer. It's that piece of wood on a string that you can vary the speed of.
Oh yeah.
There's fun stuff like that on there.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That corrugated pipe. When I clean.
Oh, those are cool too. The 5-tone pipe.
Yeah. When I clean my pool, I've got this massive, huge hose that I use to I've got a sand filter on my pool, and I chuck it on backwash, and it just ejects all the crap out.
Don't get a mansion.
But then
that's only when I laugh at.
I'm on the driveway.
He's got a pool.
Yeah.
He's got a pool.
I know.
Look at you guys talking about pools, and I'm talking about this making music.
I've got a pool, and then I drive down the 2 mile, to the gates at the end, 2 miles away. Cherry tree laden.
If you don't have a pool
he goes
where
and
we
cleans.
live,
I'm going to come and stay at your guest house, Ranzee.
we get very hot. My guest house. Come on.
No, that's
gets
called an
into
actual
the-
house over here.
Yeah.
He walks out his back door, he goes to the helipad, he gets in the helicopter, he goes down to where the pool is, which is really a lake, and that's when he does his cleaning, and then he comes back in the helicopter to the helipad and then walks back into the house.
Right. Okay.
I'm
Anyway,
home.
can we bring it back talking about synthesizers, guys?
Welcome
Okay,
to
so
300.
we're going to hit this button.
You can do sine waves in your pool. So.
Yeah, true.
Give the synth quiz clue in a second, guys. Don't worry. Yep. I thought we'd talk about DIY this week because I thought it was kind of interesting, but probably more from a personal point of view. I went through another project. I've done many DIY projects in my time playing around with synths, and this even before I got into Eurorack, I did DIY stuff. This time I did a Bastel Eurorack module called the Quattro Figaro. You can't get them anymore. You can, but you can't. They've discontinued the actual product itself, but I think they've still got some circuit boards and faceplates and stuff left over. Anyway, I got mine, I think, on their run-out sale about 6 months ago. It sat on my desk over there. It kept haunting me, saying, build me. And I finally got around to doing it this week. It took a couple of blocks of about 3 to 4 hours to build it. But mind you, I was filming whilst I was doing it. It usually does take a bit longer to do that. But anyway, there she is there. She's all now completely built. I've even put the proper knobs on. So it does actually look nice there. Some people were kind of polarized by the wooden faceplate on it. Those knobs, by
the
the
wooden
way,
panels are fun. Yeah.
they've actually got, they're a little
nice.
wooden knob as well. They've got a little metal cap on them, but the actual,
I love those knobs.
the texture on that is all wooden. Anyway, so I thought I'd show you guys what it does, just really basically, just to prove that it works for a start. So you notice here I've got a triangle wave coming through, and just making sure that is running. There we go. It seemed to have kicked it back off. Probably just going to draw over itself, that's probably why. Oh no, there we go, it's running. Cool. So the triangle wave's coming from an LFO. And what can you do with a quad VCA is the question. Well, this is not just a quad VCA, this is kind of a 3-trick pony module. This is, you can use this as 4 separate VCAs, and it's very simple. So basically, personally I don't know if I like the layout, but basically there's your input, this row here. So you've got the red going into one of the inputs, and these are your outputs, the second row here. Above this line are to do with control voltage modulation, and then it's kind of like the first row is your CV, and the second row is your inverters and stuff like that. So it kind of gets a little complex, but it also does have normalized patching in it. So for example, if I want to invert control voltage, I can do things like stereo panning, and this is a little patch I've got set up. So I've got a standard synth voice, which is the Behringer one there, and the triangle wave, what that does is it's modulating the 2 VCAs, and because I've got them on a different gain setting, it should start stereo panning. So let's get this going, and we'll get an arpeggiator going. There we go, we can hold that. So you can see that panning, and you can just use the LFO to change the rate of the panning. And you can see on the Mordax data, that's the rate of the LFO. I've got the module going into the Typhoon. By the way, I found it. Last week we were looking for it. Do you remember we had the clouds out and we were going, I think Wagoo asked me what's the other module that you can get that's like the clouds. Remember how we were talking about the skies from Behringer, and we started talking about the clouds? The Typhoon is the one I've got, and it's got a different firmware on it than what the clouds has. It's got a like a hemisphere, I think, firmware or something. I can't remember what it's called. Not hemisphere, sorry. What do they call it again? I've forgotten the name of it. Anyone help me?
Yeah, I forgot. I haven't loaded any of those alternate firmwares, but I've seen them.
Super Parasites is the name of the firmware. Super Parasites.
Oh, the Parasite one.
Yeah. So the Super Parasites offers. So you if I grab the clouds, where's the clouds? Just to show you the clouds, how much different it looks to the Typhoon in layout. So if I move that across a little bit to the right, okay. So it's very different. So in a sense, you kind of got a similar sort of connections and things like that in it, but the Super Parasites firmware itself gives you a whole bunch of extra algorithms. It's got the clouds. Granular processing. It's got and you access them by holding down time. You hold down time, and it's got this little flashing thing, and then you can toggle by pressing time. So at the moment you would have noticed it's on the bottom one. The bottom one is, if I can find it, where is it? It's the delay one. Where's it gone? I'm trying to find it in my manual here. No, it's not the delay one. It's called Spectral Madness, the bottom one. and it's a mode that makes the incoming signal is converted into frames of spectral data, and then they're stored, transformed, and recombined into a resynthesized as a time domain signal. And then all of these sliders here become different sort of things, like position slider here selects into which buffer the audio is poured. So when freeze is not active, or when you if you have freeze active, it does a different thing. It's from which buffer the audio is synthesized. Then you've got things like the density is a tempo quantization, the size is a spectral warp, texture is a spectral quantization, and the trigger is for the trigger. So I just thought I'd give you guys a little go at that. I'll just go back to this. I've also got the reverb in there as well. Turn it off, turn it on. Straight to the reverb. You don't have to go through a menu to get to the reverb, which I like. And then let's get into here. So now we're just doing the wet signal. There we go. Completely different sound there. And this is the tempo quantization. And this is the spectral warp.
Get some stuff like that on a panharmonium also.
So we can take a bit of reverb, and then you can chuck an LFO into that that size one, and it will automate that. And then you can mix the dry signal into it. I guess the other cool thing about it is you've got a stereo panning module here, and actually it's a dual stereo panning module, so you can actually have two single inputs stereo panning if you want to. I'll get back to what else this does in a sec. But that stereo signal can go as an input left and right into this module, and it will still process it directly through. And the other thing I like about it too is you've got some other cool features, like you've got in levels, out levels. You can actually mute the input and mute the output on it, so it's just straight away. Like if you're not happy with, especially if you're getting some crazy feedback sounds and stuff like that. So I'll show you the mutes. They're actually really handy. So you can hear the wet and the dry now. I'll mute the input, so it's not gonna work well with this particular algorithm because it needs an audio signal. But if we put more feedback on this, and we mute it, so now we're not getting the input, but we're still getting the frozen signal. And if that's getting too crazy, we can mute the output as well. So there you go. Pretty cool module. I actually really liked it. Anyway, lots and lots of algorithms to play with, and there's a stack of cool little things in there, and it's pretty deep. If you're into that sort of granular sort of modular processing, and not bad also for stereo as well. And even at the very, very basic, the actual reverb's quite nice on it too. And I like how you can just turn it on, turn it off without going through the menus. Yeah. Anyway, so thought I'd mention that because that was kind of a sort of carry on from last week's show. Back to the Bastel. So the other things this can do, we'll bring it over so I can zoom in a little bit and you guys can see. It's a bit of a shame they kind of discontinued it, because actually I think it's quite a sensible module. You can get an aluminium face, by the way, for this. You don't have to have the wooden face. Down the bottom, you'll see these A plus C and B plus D, and then A plus B plus D, A plus, So you've got inverted mix. This is like a mixer with all different sort of options here. And this kind of comes in handy for a couple of reasons. So I feel like when Bastel built this, they definitely wanted this to be either a multi-purpose mixer with ducking ability, panning ability, and just use it as a standard VCA. But on top of that, because it's a mixer, you can get all these different mix variations here. Obviously, that third one is the main one. If you had a whole bunch of inputs, all 4 going through, and you only have 1 coming out, it's not taking up a lot of space on your other mixer. That's always handy. So it's a summing. But the other thing you can do with it too is these gain controls here will actually do a 2 times gain crazy amount, and it distorts like hell. So around about there on and above, it kind of distorts. So if I go to fully dry on that other module, it's now distorting. It's a bit hard to sort of show this when I've got a panning patch in, but anyway, you guys get the idea. If we take the panning patch out and we just have it as a dry signal, it's going to come out the left channel because I've only got it left. That will start distorting now. So just as a standard VCA, it's kind of cool. Does its job, but then you can so you can get some cool sounds out of it. It's not just boring old VCA. So I thought that and the inverting, I think we could probably show that another day, where you can set it up for ducking and things like that. Does some cool things there. And yeah, in this particular case, you will notice that I've got the frequency central envelope generator here, and that's going into the Behringer module here. And then that's already got a VCA on it, right? But I don't need to. I can just come straight out of the filter on that and then straight into here. So it becomes a like VCO. Where are we? How do we get out of the filter onto this? There?
Top here.
This one?
Normalized one.
That one?
No, I think it's the other way around.
I think it might be the other way around.
Yeah, good question. How do you get out?
Don't think you can. I think I've got to go through the VCA.
I don't think you can you? Oh, hang on. No, it's the red one, isn't it? On the bottom that you've got something patched into already.
No, that's the modulation inputs. I want just the audio.
Okay.
That's the audio signal up here.
Tied to them. Yeah, I get you.
So they're inputs. That's normalized there. Anyway, I forget. But anyway,
No,
you
can't.
can. I don't think you can on this particular module, but you can take it straight out. But then you would just use it as a standard VCA, and in which case you've got your attenuators here to control the modulation input here. So what do I like about it? I like what it does functionally, and it doesn't take up a lot of HP to give me 4 VCAs, and you can never have enough VCAs in Eurorack land because they are so handy for all sorts of reasons. But I don't like the wooden panel. Sorry, guys. Just not really loving the wooden panel. It actually kind of sticks up. I don't know if you can see. It's a bit hard to tell.
It's thick, isn't it?
It sticks up. It's actually a piece of oak, apparently. So
is that the only model you could get? That's why you got the wood version?
I got it on a discount. So it was only 100 euros as a kit.
It was a promotion they were running. Running out the module with those panels. So
yeah, because they have a bunch of the wood ones.
It does look nice. Yeah. Like at a distance, it does look nice. And thank God they gave us those little sort of what do you call them?
The nice knobs.
The knob caps, right?
Yeah.
They're actually kind of like I'll show you guys. You can see.
They're nice.
See how they're wood?
Yeah. Kind of aluminium topped wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
I could make some.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to the kind of the topic of DIY. So you guys, okay, you've seen that. I built this, and it's quite a complex. If you want to go and look at me building it, there's 2 live streams on my channel. Literally the last 2 live streams that were on there. And I go through all the sort of warts and all process of building something. I don't profess that I'm an expert at DIY electronics, and I do make mistakes. And even people who have engineers degrees make mistakes. So just be aware that if you ever want to get yourself into Eurorack, the mistakes that you make aren't always bad. There's always ways around them. There was one stage during it I was wondering where the 47k resistors were, and I'd actually dropped them on the floor. And so I started going through a box trying to find my 47k resistors if I had some backup ones. I did, luckily for me. I had this little TMU emergency electronics box where I had a whole bunch of resistors in there. They were a little bit bigger, so I started putting them in on the circuit board and putting them in on a different angle because they're a little bit bigger than what they're supposed to be. And then I thought to myself, hang on a minute, maybe they just fell on the floor. And I looked down on the floor and there they were underneath my chair. And so luckily for me, I didn't have to go and do that. But these are
I
little...
always have a torch nearby.
Little mistakes you make. Yeah,
bright
exactly.
Torch.
Couple of other things, like for example, because this would not happen if I wasn't doing it on camera. So because I was filming under the microscope camera for the first stream, I found it really, really hard to see what I was doing because I had to look at the screen.
Surprised.
The only way I could work out what I was doing was by looking at the screen, and that's under a microscope. And it's really, really weird. Like your whole spatial perception of your hand-eye coordination just goes out the window. And as a result, I was accidentally touching empty pinholes on the circuit board and filling them up with solder. So then I had the problem of having to get those solder blobs out of these tiny little holes, and it took me a little while to sort that out. And so there's little problems that you have to overcome. Obviously, you guys would never have to do that because you don't have to film it on your YouTube channel. So you're probably not going to go through those problems. But I don't know. I kind of felt like there were some good decisions that I made though when I was making it as well, and probably that might be due to the fact that I've built a few things over the years. So one of the things I like to do is I like to check as I go, and it might be a little bit painful for some to do that, but you would have noticed me. I was checking all the soldered, so I'd do soldering in a batch, and then I'd go and check every single solder point under my camera to make sure that I was happy there wasn't any dry solders on there. I mean, my soldering isn't perfect. I could definitely be better at that, but that's just practice. The more you do it, the better you get at it. It's kind of a bit like, I was going to say riding a bike, but it's not, because I ride a bike all the time and I never have a problem with riding a bike. I think it's probably more like if you haven't ridden a skateboard for a while, you'd get on it, you'd probably be really wobbly, but after a couple of hours, you'd be good at it again. It's kind of like that, maybe. I'm not really sure if that's a good analogy, but I kind of felt like the second day, my soldering was... What was that, Darren?
After a couple of hours, you'd probably broke your leg or something on a skateboard.
Probably, yeah. But I think the second day I was much quicker at soldering and I was much more accurate.
Yeah.
And it's not
the second day, I reckon.
It's not like Chris. He's probably soldering every day. I don't solder every day. I probably solder once every 3 or 4 months. It's not a frequent thing that I do. So, but even still, I don't know. We were talking about using different solder tips at one stage, and whether I like the chisel tip.
Yeah.
I kind of like to rest the chisel tip on the pad. So look, the pad is the circuit board, which has got the solder mask on it, right? And I'll rest it just where the through hole leg goes through, just against it, and then I'll bring the solder wire in and touch it against it. That's generally how I've been taught to do it. And if you look at some of the good training videos out on YouTube, that's generally what they will teach you to do as well. But I find the chisel tip works for me that way. But there's so many, like, people will say they'll, like, you prefer the cone tip, Chris. So
yeah, it's only because I got used to it. That's the thing, is that whatever you get used to is the best tool, is the best tip for you, because it's what makes you the best solderer, not what makes someone else the best solderer.
yeah,
So whenever someone says, "Oh no, you should be using this tip because it's horrible to use these other ones," like, well, for you it is horrible, but what if it's really comfortable for someone else to use?
exactly.
And that's what I
Yeah,
find the main thing about DIY stuff, is it's what's comfortable for you. Find what's comfortable for you, rather than always doing
what someone else says.
verbatim what other people say. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I always
There's a
preferred
bit
the
of
chisel
that.
tip when I was soldering. You know, it was cool.
Anyway, I thought I'd show you guys. I've taken the module out. Oh my god, I've taken it out. What's going to happen?
Oh my god.
There she is there.
The electrons are going to fall out.
So you can see it's quite a complex. I wouldn't say this is a basic build. So
Yeah,
if
it's
you
not a
were
beginner's,
starting
is it?
out,
It's
No.
quite an advanced module.
so there's all the electronics are mainly on this board here, and you can see that that's the amount of soldering I've had to do. All those tiny little dots are individual soldering joints. And then the second board here is a lot of the mechanical stuff. There's a couple of resistors there, which didn't take long.
So many sockets.
But lots of sockets you guys can count. And, you know, I found that was the second day I was doing that. I found that actually quite easy.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
It's thick though, isn't it? That
is.
piece of wood is
it's
chunky.
very thick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't want it to be thinner because it'd probably snap, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
There you go. Excitement, guys. But anyway,
It's not a terrible job. It's a good job.
why do you do DIY? Well, there's a couple of thoughts behind it. One might be that you enjoy doing it. Some people find it relaxing to sit there and build something, and there's a sense of achievement at the end. Some people will have multiple ticks in these boxes. Some people do it because they definitely need to save a few dollars and they haven't got a big budget. And that is one way to get into Eurorack. You can, if you are good with the soldering iron and a little bit skilled with, I don't know, computers and programming, and you can do that sort of stuff, then you can save a lot of money in Eurorack with DIY and even making your own, inventing your own things. So that's definitely a cool way to go. If I was to say, oh, this Bastel, did I save money on this instead of getting someone to build it like them? Definitely not, because the amount of time it took me to build that, if I was to equate that to how valuable my time is in my house as a family member or even in work, it would definitely be way cheaper to just get them to build it for me. So if you looked
The
at it that
number
way,
on your credit card is better, isn't it?
yeah, you've saved money, but you've
Cash flow.
cost yourself
it's like,
time.
You know, cash flow might be problem. Then the DIY kit's another way of sort of
Indeed.
paying.
I mean,
it
the
forward,
last time I had to do soldering was when I had the hi-fi shop and I was doing guitar rewirings, things like that.
Mm.
So I've never done any sort of really small solder jobs like Ranzee's just done, you know.
That's not the biggest
'Cause it's
soldering job I've done, though. I've done bigger than that. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's back in the 2000s. I bought an amplifier, hi-fi amp as a kit, and did that, and that took weeks. It took me weeks to do it, you know. But I had two functioning eyes in those days. So
one of the good things about that particular project is there was no SMC, surface mount.
It's all through hole
components. Yeah, it was all through hole. So that makes, my old-fashioned eyes not too bad. It wasn't too bad for me. I have done projects where I've had to actually solder SMC, and I don't mind it. It's kind of a different technique than through hole.
It has its advantages.
It does. Once you kind of get to know how it works, you're literally just plopping the components on, and then you just run the soldering line over it, and she just bubbles for a bit, and she'll sit there, and it's kind of cool how the flux and the mask works. Yeah,
exactly. It kind of utilizes the way the chemistry or the liquids flow and exploits it to create the connections that are in the right place, rather than relying on you to put things in the right place.
But you have to have a steady hand. You have to have a steady hand.
Good quality solder. Tracy makes a good point. She spent more on her soldering equipment than buying the good quality equipment is really important, I think, with soldering.
Most of the stuff I've got in that back corner over there is pretty cheap,
hobbyist stuff,
hobbyist level stuff.
Is it?
Yeah,
it's fine. Yeah.
It's not expensive stuff to get.
So you don't have you have obviously solder sucker, but you don't have an extractor. I mean, that's all business like Kent would.
No, I don't have an extractor, and I probably usually when I solder in, because Australia is
not. I don't have one.
Not Australia, I should say. Where we live, it's only cold a couple of months of the year, and normally I will have a fan in this room running. I have a fan when I'm on the show here.
Yeah,
I have a fan on at the moment. So normally, if I have a fan on, it just blows all the solar smoke
away.
Yeah, I don't have a problem, so I don't need an extractor. But I did notice that there was a bit of fume inhalation. So I've probably lost a few brain cells over the last couple of days.
It's just flux. It's
flux
not core coming out. It's not too bad. Not too carcinogenic.
Still nasty though.
Could get cancer.
Yeah, if you catch it in the throat, it is.
So does
any smoke is bad.
What I got in the shed. I was going to say. Yeah. So it's half the stuff I got in my shed.
Yeah.
And Ranzee, you ever built your own circuit boards with the resist ink pen and the liquid bath and all that?
Not that way.
I did that in high school a bunch. It was fun, actually.
You fish tanked, have you, Ranzee?
Yeah.
Fish tanked. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought. That's how we used to do it in the old days.
Yeah, but when I was a kid, I used to live across the road from an electronic engineer, and he's now left us. He was quite elderly, but as a kid, I'd go around to his house, and he had this massive setup at the back of his garage. He had a garage that was like built in under the main roof of the house, but then at the back of it, and into a career. So. Yeah. We buffering? How are we buffering?
Yeah.
Are we?
How are we buffering?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Waggle says he thinks VMix might have crashed, but
no, it's not VMix.
No, it's trying to catch up.
It's StreamYard.
It's definitely buffering. Yeah.
There's no errors in StreamYard.
Let me look at. I'm looking at the chat, but I'm not looking at the screen. I've got the screen frozen, so...
Yeah, it's nothing to do with my end, it's StreamYard. So what happens with the show is it goes out through Streamlabs. Get the term right in a sec. And it multi-streams.
Looks alright, Chris.
I think I'm about 30 seconds behind on that.
It multi-streams, so there will be a slight delay, but other than that, it's the actual streaming is done at their end, and there's no issue from here at all. So it's their end that's causing it.
It's resolved. Yeah.
It's resolved. Okay, cool. Anyway, it probably would be catching up now, so they're probably behind. It'll probably be buffering, and then they would have to then
hit
their
your
frames
live button
back.
if you
Hit the live button. So what we're saying, so in terms of my experience in electronics, I mean, I was doing the same thing, Andy, as you as a kid. We used to have in Australia, as a kid in the 80s, 70s, we used to have two main electronic places. One was called Tandy, which Ian would know in the UK, and you guys would know.
I remember
in the US.
Tandy.
And we also have this Australian guy called Dick Smith, and he ran his electronics business as well. And Dick is he's like a helicopter pilot / electronics engineer. He's still around. He's getting old now, but he sold off his businesses and everything a while back now. But back in the day, he used to do kits. So you used to be able to go and buy kits from him, and you could build things like LED chasers and all sorts of cool little fun things as a kid, and learn how to get into electronics. You could do that.
Yeah.
And I think like most of us probably did that. Like Tandy, I don't know if Tandy had kits in Australia for long.
No,
Didn't
they were
last
sort of
long.
more for parts, weren't they?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
parts
so
and
occasional.
boxes,
They did
little
have them-
boxes that you could.
They
Yeah.
did have them for a while, but they didn't last long.
Yeah, we had some kits for Radio Shack here, the Tandy equivalent here. So
Yeah, we had Radio
my
Shack.
favorite, those little spring-loaded
We had Radio
kits.
Shack
Was
too,
the 201 kits, where you had little spring-loaded
yeah.
wire things, and you
Yeah.
could build your own
Yeah.
circuits. And
Yeah, I
pull them
remember
apart.
those. Yeah, they had those. Yeah.
Looked like a real science
Yeah.
lab.
So
Almost like a
nowadays,
chemistry set.
we've got two places in Australia you can go to for sort of retail electronics. One's called Alltronics, and the other one's called J-Car, and they both of them do kits. You can still buy kits from those guys. Nothing's really changed. It's I think there's like one synthesizer kit. I don't know if they still do it. You can do a theremin,
Oh, yeah.
and I've built that.
There's also
I've got one in the.
there was also the sort of the primitive stylophone one.
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's
there
still
was. Yeah,
Yeah, the one with the touch. Yeah, it's actually not a touch keyboard. It's just
Oh,
a
yeah.
wire, and you hit the circuit board.
I built one of those out of a magazine.
Just like a
once
Vulcan.
from parts. It's a
Yeah,
crappy theremin.
yeah. I mean, this theremin one, I it was made by Electronics Australia, and then they turned it into a kit. I don't know if you can still get it anyway. But
Yeah, I was just looking. Sorry, go on.
no, you go.
I was just going to say we had a place called Maplin's here, which was
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maplin.
lots and lots. I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought they'd
Maplin.
gone, but they're actually the website's still there. So I'm assuming they're just an online business now, or maybe
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
every town, every city had a Maplin's.
Well, Maplin's.
Yeah.
There was a Maplin
You
synth,
guys are
right?
lucky.
Didn't you
Yeah.
build a synth?
Maplin's
Yeah,
had a
there was,
synth, a DIY
Yeah.
synth.
Yeah,
Good
they-
one.
They did, yeah.
It was in the 80s.
Yeah.
Heathkit also
Absolutely.
had those too. Heathkit in the
What's
US
the
had
guy?
those.
What's the guy?
Build
The
your own
YouTuber.
synth.
Oh, I've forgotten his name
Look,
now.
my new computer, Sam Battle.
No, not
Sam
Sam.
Battle.
No, there was a guy before him. He lives in
Okay.
Brighton. Jeez, I've forgotten his name now. He actually found a Maplin's in a car boot sale, and
Mark.
he repaired it.
Oh wow.
You remember him, Daren, don't you? He was on the show a few times.
Yes. Oh, blimey! I'm
That's-
trying to think.
Marcus
Does it
Fuller.
sound
That's
good?
him. That's him. Marcus Fuller would.
Yeah,
be
that's
him.
Oh,
it.
Marcus
Yes,
Fuller,
yes.
yeah.
I hope he's alright. I
Yeah,
haven't heard
Marcus
from him
is
for a
cool.
while. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, that's
Good.
part.
Was he an Aussie?
Yeah, I
He's
was
an
used to
Aussie.
pop
No,
into
he's-
Maplin's.
No,
just,
he's
you know.
UK.
Yeah.
Marcus Fuller. Yeah. Seen that name.
Did Marcus do a lot of those teardowns and stuff? He would open stuff up.
yeah.
and-
He'd
Yeah,
repair
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
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 They were great videos. Yeah, he used to be a regular. I think he came on the show a couple of times. It was a regular in chat. I haven't seen him for a long time. I hope he's all right. Probably still around. I mean, the videos I used to like him doing were the car boot sales. He'd go, because in the UK you've got these car boot sales, and you can pick up
Absolutely.
some really interesting stuff.
I bought a DW6000 at a car book sale
Oh wow!
for 25 quid.
Jeez.
Nice.
And it worked. Yeah.
You know, the fun thing about those old Radio Shack spring-loaded kits was it's a modular gateway, right?
Mm.
We didn't even know it as kids. We had no idea what we were getting into.
Oh yeah, That's the thing I like about Eurorack. It's kind of
Yeah,
it brings you back to a little bit of your childhood
That's right.
dreams that you had, you know. But at the same time, you're making music, which is a different childhood dream. So you're kind of merging two different childhood dreams.
Exactly. I'm still not a rock star though.
Yeah. Well, that's not going to happen for me anyway.
We had different
yeah,
motivations
exactly.
back then. You wanted to be a rock star, so you get the chicks, right? So that was a.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I got into
I
music.
never ever thought that. I knew, because I was a realist. I knew that I was never going to be a rock star. Sorry, Andy.
I said, look at some of those guys. Though. It didn't matter how they looked; they were famous, so that's all that mattered.
Yeah,
So.
That is true.
Ranzee just had getting a mansion on his list. Never mind that.
Oh,
oh,
come on. Something went bang then. Yeah, so that's that's all I had to say about DIY. I mean, I probably profess about it a lot during a lot of the sort of news segment stuff, over the years. But when you actually do something yourself and go through it, it's a different perspective, I guess.
I mean, there is a sense of achievement doing.
Oh yeah.
One of you at a time.
Go,
please.
Daren. It's okay.
Yeah.
Go, Daren.
I was going to say the good thing about doing DIY is if you want a specific thing that no one else has done and you can build it yourself to do something that you need to be done. I think that's cool about DIY. And I'd probably, if I was good enough, I'd probably want to do things like that. But yeah, that's the good side to DIY, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
because there's always something you want in there, and it's just never quite
empowerment
does what you want it to do.
Yeah. I built my own cajon, which is sat down there, which I'll never sell, and it came as a kit. And I thought, it'd be great. It's got spring and everything. I should have just bought 4 bits of wood because that's what came. 4 bits of wood without even the hole at the back cut out. So I had to buy a special saw to cut out the hole in the back of the cajon, and then I did modify it because apparently you had to glue the front, and I screwed it so that I can always replace the front on it and things like that. So I did a slight modification, but it works great.
Those ring saws that cuts a hole.
Yeah, that's exactly what I had to buy. Yeah,
they're a pain in the ass. Those things, those ring saws.
They are. Yeah. And I thought the kit would come with it.
It'll be fine. I'll just hold it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Gotta put your weight on it. Push down. Put your weight on it.
Yes, it's like next moment you're in the A&E. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a round hole anymore.
Let's not talk about what happened when I built this over here.
Do you have any fingers left, Rant?
I'm surprised.
There's no sense of touch in his fingers now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I will say, Daren, that there is a certain curse to knowing enough to design and build exactly what you want. There's the frustration of not actually being able to achieve what you want.
Yeah,
kind of like,
see it right there.
Why is it? It's like, now I know how hard it is and why it's so hard.
Well, guys,
it's a little museum of all your revs. You have all the revs of all your product.
Yeah.
Like 20 versions of them.
Should we do the third clue for the synth quiz?
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
This one is definitely going to make a few people go and change their mind about what they thought they were going to put as. Here we go. Third clue. Mod sequencer. Put it in a pot and mix it together, and you've got. Put your guess in chat. See how long it takes before someone guesses it. Should we put the timer on?
It depends. That mine is about 20 seconds behind. Cup of tea time.
Let's go.
Tea time. Jane says hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Is that somebody waving?
Yeah. They're all waving at you, darling.
They are. Oh, sorry. Where am I? Where am I?
Just look.
Oh, that one. Right.
Yeah.
I'm just doing.
Yeah, they can hear you probably.
Oh, right, okay.
You're all right.
She's famous now, mate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She is.
So,
worldwide.
Andy, you think it's the MS2000? Half God, half beast thinks it's the Roland JDXi. They're two completely different synthesizers. But I can see why you've chosen them. There was a few clues there that might have given that up.
Yeah. There's a shot in the dark.
Yeah? Have a shot in the dark. Yeah. I noticed Wagoo has been a bit quiet. Maybe he's catching up on the stream. I'm not sure. How far back is the stream? Let me see. Let me just give that a refresh. Ooh.
Oh, should be Ranzee's synth.
Magoo's got his guess in. He said the Korg Radius. Okay. Yeah. You reckon the Micro Korg?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. They're all in that kind of ballpark.
Yep. Cool. There's only what have we got so far? Tracker Jack did also put his guess in earlier, and he guessed the JDXI as well.
Yeah, just all the different micro corks.
Yeah, the Micro Korg is the Micro Korg.
Yeah.
The XL isn't that different from the original.
Yeah. So Tracker Jack, I didn't forget about your guess, mate. Yeah. Anyone else?
I have that weird micro cork old school one that has like the weird molding on it. The vintage knobs.
I had that.
Remember
Was
that one?
the original one? Yeah, original one.
No, it's the second one. It had a
Right.
black molding and more vintage looking.
Oh
thing.
yeah. I had the original.
Who do you think is
but,
right? Though, guys, who do you think is right? Out of all of those people in chat, who do you think has got it right? Because somebody's got it right.
I have another guess, but I already guessed. But yeah.
Yeah. I've got the Micro Korg with the speaker now, which is terrible. The speaker thing's terrible.
Oh,
Vibrates the keys.
No.
Yeah, it came out a few years ago.
Right.
But you feel
bass.
the vibration of the key. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shall I let
So
you guys
I
know?
didn't-
Shall I let you guys
Go
know
on
what
then.
the answer is?
Yeah.
All right. So the answer to the synth quiz is ready, set, Korg Radius. Magoo gets it again.
Oh God,
Oh, no.
Mr. Wagoogle.
Well, the mod sequencer should have been the giveaway for that,
Yeah, I don't remember that part.
and it's
Could
got to
have
have
been any
it's got to
part,
have a
yeah.
drum kit. Let's look through the clues, right? It's got to have a drum kit in it.
Yeah, I didn't think the Micro Korg had drums.
Nope, doesn't. Nope, doesn't. It's got to have a vocoder,
No,
which
just
does.
Does look more of
But
a
the Radius does
drum
as well,
kit.
and then it's got to have the mod sequencer. So there's your three clues. I
My
mean,
other guess would have been the
the MS2000. Whoever guessed that was pretty close, but I don't think the MS2000
not-
has drums in it.
doesn't have drums. Yeah.
Yeah, because the Radius and the MS2000 have a very similar engine. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have guessed a lot of stuff, really, but the actual term mod sequencer is actually a Radius, like it's the way they spell it. So if you look at some of the other synths, they might have a modulation sequencer in them, but it's not called a mod sequencer. It's called something else. Like it might be called, parameter sequencer or something else, different terms. But yeah, Korg Radius. I used to
My
own
other
a
guess
Korg
is going to be
Radius.
Quasi-MIDI Sirius because it has those features as well. So
Yeah, yep, the Sirius does. But it wasn't serious enough. I mean, Alan Parsons thought it was pretty serious.
Yeah.
Oh, I slipped
very
two
good.
jokes in the
Nice.
quick fire.
Double joke. Yes.
ouch.
Yeah, that was over your head.
Not long. I got it.
Yep. Choo. Keeps
That's
the
a good
head
track,
short.
actually. I like Sirius.
It is. It is. Indeed, it is. Used in a lot of movies. That actually, a lot of. He must make a fortune out of just the royalties from movies that he's had
And
that
what
in.
what does the arpeggio? What was the synth that did the main riff on that track? Do we know?
The
It sounds like a kind of a clavier
it's a
type
guitar, isn't it?
instrument.
I thought it
Well, there's a guitar playing some of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was a synth.
Pretty sure that's a guitar.
Yeah, it's a guitar.
Harness the power of the Radius. Do you remember that? The vocoder thing? You press a button, and it's got some guy saying, "Harness the power of the Radius." I don't miss it. I don't miss it, guys. I used to own one, and I loved it. I do admit I loved it, but I don't miss it. I do have the Korg EXB Radius card in my M3, so there you go. Indeed. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, guys, 300 shows. What's next? What should we do next?
301.
Yeah, I'll see
yeah.
300 more. We'll do 300 more, and then we'll talk about it again at 600.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I used to remember hanging out in IRC chat with some of these guys like Wagoo and Azio Head.
Oh wow.
There's some of the other people are still there. Babs is another one. Lady Aptitude.
Are you talking about the Sonic Talk? IRC?
Yeah, the IRC channel.
I used to be. I used to go
use
to
that
the
a lot.
Sonic Talk IRC. That's where I first met
Yeah.
probably Wagyu and Bert as your head. Remember back in the day. I haven't seen Sonic Talk for a while actually. I haven't watched it.
Wagoo, you're the IRC friggin' what do you call it? Moderator or
Guru.
Yeah, you're the guy that set up half the stuff for that for Nick. I did actually have an IRC server at one stage, and I was gonna keep it running, but it's just honestly, I don't want to have to manage, and worry about people hacking into it and stuff like that. So yeah. What's a VST? Oh, okay, yeah. Talking about something else. Let's go across to see what they're talking about. I mean, guys, just talk amongst yourselves. Why don't you?
Well, I think they're allowed, don't you?
Well, it is called the chat room, so it's.
Yeah.
So it's appropriate for the 300 show.
Yeah,
Basically,
indeed.
it's about you, the audience.
It is. It's about them.
Yeah.
Now, there's a couple of other things that I wanted to show you guys on the news. I might leave it till next week. The usual places, Chris, is where I found them, if you're wondering. You'll know what I mean by that.
Yeah, there's been a few.
Could be interesting. Some of those other things could be
Yeah, it
interesting.
could be.
Yeah.
Some of them have, lack of information. Some of them have plenty of information.
It's like
I
the
did
20.
see.
Yeah,
They're talking about
could be.
the guys in chat are talking about the Resonarium. I did see that. I've got a piece includes me in the chat. What a good,
yes.
what a good lad. Yeah. What another CS80 VST? What the hell? Another one.
It's a hot item.
Paint CS80. Is that new? Is it, or it's an old one?
Sound paint. Sound paint.
Is it new? I mean, I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
it's $20 off, 79 at the moment. I don't really know about it.
CS8 to UDS.
Yeah. I don't know if we need another one though, do we? Really?
Well, no, I've got the Arturia one. I don't need any more than that.
See, it's from this is different. This is samples, right?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Sort of a UVI approach.
Yeah.
So, no, thank you. I don't want to join.
I don't know about samples. I don't know.
Yeah, no, there's something kind of unconvincing about the whole thing. Oh, no, we've held the key down for 25 seconds. I don't think I ever played that for longer than 25
I know. Yeah.
It's like, that's not the point. That's
Imagine
not
the guy
point.
doing
It's,
it.
yeah. It's all done by auto sample now.
Yeah, I know.
It's all
Imagine.
machine.
I've got a job for you, mate. You look like you come down to the studio.
That's what you give the intern, yeah. Sample the CS80. See how far he gets. Next to the tartan paint,
25 seconds.
left-handed screwdriver.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know if I'm a fan of those sample, but I mean what was the first one I ever kind of got into? I mean, the Native Instruments was one, wasn't it? But the GeForce software one.
Talking about
The
Mini Monster.
vintage synth, I think it was called, or something.
Well, they had a Mini Monster Mini Moog. That was one of the earlier products, but I can't remember if it's sample based or not.
And for me, you'd have to be really kind of passionate about this stuff. I mean, I think I was at the time I was really sort of lusting after a good Eminence sample, and GeForce did a good job of it. There's no doubt about it. But then you had something like 8 gigabytes worth of sample files sitting on your computer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's this crazy amount of storage just for one sound. When you think about it, there's probably a better way of doing it than actually having a literal recording for every single note that's been pressed. There's probably a better way.
But the UVI stuff's very good though. They did a good job with those sample tweaks.
Yeah. VSM, that's the one.
But it is a large library though.
Yeah. I mean, I still have it. I still like it, but it's kind of not, not being used ever anymore because I've got, Behringer have stolen the show there. I've got 2 Behringer products. One's the VP330 clone, the VC340, and that does a string sound, and the other one is the Selena, the Behringer Selena, and they've done a really, really good job of that. That's actually really, really good. I have to admit though, when we watched the ARP stuff the other day, it's kind of got me peeking again. I really wouldn't mind owning an Omni. I think an Omni would be a cool ARP to own. It's always like I knew about it and then I've forgotten about it, and I've always kind of, whenever I've talked about ARP stuff, I've always talked about the Quadra, right? But the Omni would be cool, I reckon, to have one. Probably the Omni 2, if I was going to get one. I was talking to Kent about it on his show, on his pub. I'd like to have an Omni. So there's a couple of vintage synths that I wouldn't mind getting. There's the Yamaha CS30, which is another one, and the Omni, and the Quadra, and the Elka Synthex. And I still think to this day that no one's really done a really good VST of a Synthex yet. Still don't think it's good enough. Don't think it's the same thing because of all the analog bits that they had in it.
Yeah.
Well, if you just want those famous presets, you're good with the stuff they have out.
But I don't think they're quite there. Like, I reckon if you looked at the bass response and stuff like that of those VSTs, I don't think it's kind of getting there. So, Wags bought an RS09. I love the RS09s. Well, isn't the Logan string melody? I don't know if the 2 is though, but isn't the Logan string melody the same as the It's not the Selena. What's the other one? Yeah, Trident sounds amazing. They're really, really expensive, Tridents, though. We talked about it the other day. Actually, dying to see one come up on Price Watch.
Yeah, I found it. I once did a gig and used a Korg Trident. I thought it was really good.
The
Hasn't the Korg Micro X got the sounds of a Trident, or some of them?
I can't remember. You were telling the story.
Micro X is a funky keyboard.
Little one, yeah, I've got one. But I thought it had.
Oh, I can't remember the name of that string machine now. I hate it when I have memory blanks. I'm getting old. There was the Logan, there was the Selena, there was the Eminence. and there was, I guess the Roland would probably have its, the VP330, I guess. And the Korg.
Well, I think it's RS. I think it's RS09 and Mr. Crowley, the Ozzy Osbourne song. It sounds great.
Oh, when it's got the does the RS09 have the
string.
Has the ensemble thing on it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't think of the name of it. I'm just looking at some stuff.
Yes.
Anyway, doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, like I was saying before, ARP Omni, the string machine in the Quadra and the ARP Omni, I think, are similar, aren't they? I think they're based on the Selena. ARP Omni string. Kind of different. There is a VST that you can get called Stringer. Oh, that's what I was thinking of. The symphony, the Wilson Symphony.
Oh, okay.
That's why I couldn't remember it. The Hohner did the Logan, right? The German company. But it was made.
Yeah,
It was made in Italy, right? But it was distributed by Hohner, if I remember rightly.
Not the Elka Rhapsody you were thinking of?
Well, the Elka
Many probably.
wasn't that the same thing as something else? I think a lot of these string machines they rebadged.
Yeah, they
people's
rebadged.
stuff.
That's right.
Yeah, I was right about the Micro X. The Micro X is a cut-down version of a Trident. It's got the same hyper-integrated synthesized engine and some of the sound sets. So, poor man's Triton, really.
Okay. You'd be frustrated with it then, because if you know that it's not doing some of the stuff the Triton does.
Like I said, I only played the Trident on a gig, so I quite like the Micro X for what it is, because it's small. It's you can stick it on your desk and all that. Some of the sounds are cool in it, but yeah, I'm sure if I played the Trident a lot more, I would be very frustrated with it.
Anyway, knowing my luck, if I did buy an Omni, it would be riddled with problems and yeah, those things are an absolute nightmare. I don't know if you've ever seen inside them. They're a nightmare. ARP had this thing where I was talking to Kent about this actually when he streamed, where they used to like put resin blobs over circuits. And I believe the reason why they did it, they reckon they did it to stabilize heat and those sort of things. But I reckon the reason they did it was to obfuscate their designs.
Yeah, it's potting, so you can't learn what it is.
Yeah, I remember doing that when I was working in hi-fi. They did that. Mission Electronics did that with their CD players. Great big blob of resin.
Yeah,
a lot of it, so you couldn't actually tell what was inside.
And Kent was telling us this funny story where he was saying that he got a little chisel out and broke, because he had to fix one of these ARP 2500. I think it was a VCA. He had to fix a VCA in an ARP 2500, and he didn't know what was behind this resin blob, so he got a chisel out and broke it apart painstakingly. And eventually the whole thing came apart, and he found out that it was just a standard LM, like a linear amplifier. This is a very standard LM part that you could replace with the chip, and it didn't do anything special at all. But they blobbed it to try and trick us to thinking they've got something secret going on in their VCAs. The old-fashioned copyright protection, eh? Resin blobs.
Yeah, very much so.
And then we started talking about copyright protection for code in the 80s. And they were doing things like on EPROMs. Forget who it was. There was one company that put some monk chant or something in between each row of line. So you had a line of code, then a monk's chant, and then a line of code, and and it was a way to sort of obfuscate the code. Yeah. I don't know how that would work yet, but it would have been frustrating because wouldn't it load slower in those old computers?
It would do, yeah.
So you're trying to stop people from copying your code, but at the same time you're damaging how slow something loads because it's got to read all this shit in. Forget. I think it was Sequential that did that in the what was it? The Sequential T something
or something?
No, T. The TX sequence.
That makes sense. Sequential had a lot of kind of Eastern symbols on their circuit boards and stuff. So
I think it was the TX, whatever their sequencer was called. I don't know. We'll work it out. Sequential circuits. T8? Was that what it was? T8. Profit T8. Okay. Did it have an EPROM in that? Did it? Oh wow! Didn't know that. There you go. Maybe it was the Profit T8. It was a T something anyway. But apparently. Yeah. Yeah, it's the big. It is the big one with the poly aftertouch. So it must have had some sort of digital stuff going on. I think they used a Z80. I can't remember now. There was definitely Z80s used in the early days, and they were problematic with Sequential. That's for sure. Anyway, we've done a show, guys. I think we
have.
I mean, you're yawning, Ian, so I thought we'd.
No, I'm yawning because I'm full of cold, actually.
Oh, that's no good, mate.
Yeah, so I've been a bit crocked last couple of days. I think I picked it up at that wedding last weekend.
No good. Did you get the flu shot?
I'm supposed to, but I haven't had it this year.
Yeah. Well, it's probably you're coming into summer, so you probably don't need it now.
No, I think I had it last. So it'd be September or October time, won't it? Yeah. So that's.
Yeah.
I had it last year. Yeah.
I mean, I get the flu shot, and I know a lot of people are against vaccinations and stuff, but I haven't had the flu ever since I've got the flu shot. Ever.
Yeah.
Never had the flu. And it's been. I mean, it could be completely unrelated. It could.
No, it just depends what strains you get exposed to. But yeah.
Well, you can't get a flu shot that will prevent you from getting all the strains because it's impossible.
Right. No, exactly. No. And even if you get the strain, you could still potentially get a weaker version of the cold. It doesn't necessarily prevent you from getting sick.
Yeah. But
that was the whole point of the COVID vaccine. It didn't stop you from getting COVID. But.
We had to spell like basically every change of season around. Not every change of season. Every year they have the change of season around March, April, May. In my city, it goes from autumn to winter, basically, right? There's always a whole bunch of kids who catch colds because most kids, they'll still run around in shorts and t-shirt and bare feet, and they'll just pick up a cold. And before you know it, they've spread that through the whole school, and then your kid comes home and he's giving it to everyone in your house. That's basically how it works. And for me, the whole house gets sick, and I don't.
Yeah. It used to be quite. Excuse me. It used to be quite bad when I was lecturing because you'd have a class of 200 students, and come autumn, the autumn term starts, and the first week everybody's coughing, and it just goes through everybody, and you would catch it. I get it really.
Yeah. Anyway, hope you're feeling better, Ian.
I'll be fine.
Just die quietly, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Before I forget, I forgot to mention JX3D has the Scene Synth stream later today.
Yeah, he's already jumped in. He's already mentioned it.
Yeah.
But there you go. It's there again. Anyway, thanks everyone for being part of 300 shows, including you guys watching on the replay. I know you probably couldn't join us live, but thank you for you guys as well. Thank you for the chatties who have been here like loyal people every week. It's a boutique show, and I think you guys would be happy for that to continue to be like that. We don't want it to be, you know, the greatest and best. But in a way, we're kind of happy for us to just be ourselves and showing synths the way we think they should be shown. I think that's the whole mantra behind it, isn't it, Daren?
Well, yeah, that's how you started off.
Yeah.
Because you always said that you wanted to do a show which is not like all the others where it's all sort of we just wanted it to be like just some people who are in love with Sims music, and from their point of view rather than trying to sell you anything or
it's a user point of view.
It.
Yeah.
The thing that first attracted me to this show, way before I actually joined it to actually be on it, was actually the segments. You know. So I couldn't, in those days, I couldn't really watch it on live because Saturday afternoons I was always working, you know. But I would always watch it afterwards, you know. So, but I always enjoyed the segments, and we're still doing the segments, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah, we started. I think we started segments pretty much straight away. We started doing them pretty early.
It was. Well, I think it was from the very first one. That was the plan, wasn't it? It was just that we had so many issues to try and do it. We never actually got the segments in, but that was the plan all along, to sort of do your sort of segments and then.
Well, it's great too. You're not afraid to get into the weeds, you know.
Yeah.
Hence the geekery, right? So
yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah. Yeah, we geek out on stuff. Yep. Some people don't like it. Some people do. That's you know.
Yeah. And lots of modular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've been doing modular now for, I reckon, close to 5 years. I reckon. On the show. I mean, I pretty much had modular from the start, but we got really kind of more seriously into it for about the last 5 years. So it's only the first year that we weren't really doing much of it, but yeah. And it's not a modular show, so it's just part.
No, it's not. That's why I'm here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm more leaning towards Ian because me and Ranz started the modular when we first was getting into it. We had our own little small setups. And then obviously Ranz built more and more. Andy came in and we kept telling him to go modular. Then he started building. And I sort of went the other way. I sort of like didn't want to spend as much time fanning about with modular and just doing other stuff, music and everything else. So me and Ian are sort of, I won't say I'm non-modular, but I'm more towards Ian's side.
Fair enough.
Because I just don't use it as much. I just don't have time to. Because if I start my modular, I get carried away and I don't do what I want to do. You know what I mean? I'm too busy.
I can
creating
understand
sounds
that.
and God knows what.
Yeah.
It's okay, Ian. We'll crack that veneer eventually. We'll get the.
You reckon? Well, I'm going to be doing some stuff with Pulsar 23, so isn't that sort of modular?
There you go. Semi. Yeah.
You can pretend it is. How's that?
I could pretend it is. Yeah. I've got patch things.
Because it's normal to a point where you can go patchy with it. So,
Yeah.
Wagoo's trying to blame us for getting him 30k in the hole for getting into modular.
Yeah, right.
Wagoo.
Good luck with that one, mate.
You didn't have a problem with rack-mounted synths before that at all. No, you didn't.
Yeah, I like Rag. I like Rag because he's like me. He likes the 19-inch rack synths and stuff because, well, he's alright. He's got plenty of room, but I need the 19-inch. You can't have many keyboards.
I'm getting another one of those. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, cool.
Those desktop
ones. 19-inch rack stands.
Yeah, so I'm getting a third one because they're really cheap, around about $100. Because I've got 3 modules sitting here around the place. One right here.
Oh, cool. Well, that makes sense.
Like that needs to go in a rack. So otherwise, it's not getting used. If it's just sitting there
Biscuits.
on the
Biscuits just asked a question. Quick question: should I be using a DI box to put synths into a mixer? I don't.
Nah.
Only
if you get.
It's a
go out to a PA, use a DI box, yes, but not into a mixer.
Yeah.
So my setup live.
Only if you get
into my little,
issues. Only if you're getting issues.
Yeah, if you're getting issues,
I don't know where that. Yeah, I don't know where that kind of hard and fast rule, that myth kind of started. That you have to do that. Especially
is that to get rid of the ground loops? Is that part of the thing?
It's one of the things that gets rid of.
It does do that.
Yeah.
But for any long
I have
cable
got one.
runs, balanced is great. So, but you can get balanced synth things that aren't
there is
nice,
there is a show we did, Daren, didn't we? Years ago. Go check it out. It's on my channel. We talked about ground loop noise and DI boxes, everything. Everything was in there. There was some really good guests on that show too.
Check the back catalogue. Maybe it's the theme of 300th. Go back and have a look. There may be some topics which are relevant today, which we've already discussed.
You usually find on a PA in a live setup that it'll go into a DI box if you're going from a mixer. But, but no, I don't. I just go straight into a mixer.
I mean, another way is just to use balanced cables, XLRs.
Balanced cables, yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
If you've got ground loop problems, then try a balanced cable first.
Because you've got
the
phasing.
Common mode rejection.
Yeah,
we've saved him 75 quid. Good job, man.
There you
Actually,
go.
if you want the little Behringer one is quite cheap. I don't know how much that is. I bought one a long time ago.
For me, radical, the DI boxes are like the radical ones with the Jensen transformers in them. They are the way to go. If you're going to go proud, go well, the radical ones are good. They cost a bit.
Yes, 17 quid for the Behringer one.
Yeah.
Talking of that, in fact, all the EMOMs I've done with going into my mixer and coming out with unbalanced cables.
I do that. I do that.
Unbalanced cables everywhere.
Yeah,
and no issues. Oh, I've said it now, Anna.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
Look at that.
That's it.
Yeah, baby. TS.
Yeah. Don't get worried about that stuff. It still works. No problem at all.
Flying blind without a ring.
All right, we're gonna go.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
I like that. See you guys.
Take care.
It's funny, Chris. Cheers.
See you guys.